recording.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Charlie's back.
Yeah. Hey, tell a friend.
Tell a friend, everybody.
We're in the same room again.
You're sitting in your chair.
I'm in my chair for the second time in a long time.
I am
60% of the time.
It works.
Every time.
Every time. I am looking forward to today. I think we're going to have a really a good episode. I think we're going to have a good episode today.
I'm quite excited. I know a little bit about your topic. I know that you're doing something you have not done in a while.
Yeah.
You have not done in a dog's age. And I want to talk a little bit about why it's cracking me up. And I know it's going to, I know it's all going to make sense together.
Sorry.
Oh. Thank you. Sorry. Jesus Christ. Macy almost killed all of our expensive equipment. But we've had quite the day, dude.
Great day.
I came down nice and early. For me. I got here at 10.
11.
10:59. Okay. It was still pretty early. Before noon.
On time.
You know, I had told you that I was going to be here at noon, but in my head I was shooting for 11.
Yeah.
And I got here at 11, so.
Yeah. I was really proud.
Let's see. We did a live today.
Yeah, we did.
We ate some bread. You made a bread.
Oh, yeah. Fresh bread.
We signed our prints.
That was fun.
Which we need to talk about. Perk your ears up if you got one of the spring prints, the first quarterly WBAH collectible print series. We're going to do the thing we did last time with the golden ticket.
Do you want to do one or two?
Let's do two.
I think so too. And this time for extra funsies, we're going to have two winners. There's going to be two golden ticket winners.
And what that means is when you get yours, check the back of it. If there's a cute little golden ticket drawn on it, it probably won't be gold.
We have those gold metallic markers this time.
We've got the gold markers.
Oh, it'll be gold.
It'll actually be gold. It'll be bronze. But then that means you've won. Take a picture, send it to us, prove it.
Yeah.
And and there's a special prize, and we're narcissists, so what is the prize?
You get to just chill with us in like a Zoom for a while, and the last one was really fun. Sydney was the winner, and that was a blast. We got such gems as I'm young as fuck from that.
Oh my god, I'm young as fuck.
I'm young as fuck.
I forgot about that. What a golden nugget.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's bring it back.
That was that was a lot of fun, and so we're going to do two of these this time. She was the one sole lucky winner. And we're going to have two this time. And they're random. Like, literally, we have no say in it. We drop them off at, like, the mailing company. And they put it in the envelope. So it's just, like, purely random.
Yes. Also... Oh. Sorry. I was going to blow into the next thing. We're excited about it. Sorry, I was going to say it quickly so I didn't forget. You were in the kitchen earlier and Hunter was reminding you of something we needed to talk about on the episode today. And he said, do you want to write it down? And you said, no, I'll remember. It wasn't the prints because I remember going, okay, prints and there's something secondary that we were supposed to talk about.
It's something that I have to talk to you about. It's the one, it's what Lyra was asking me if I've talked to you about. Okay. And I'm going to talk to you about that right now. It's actually right here. I brought it in here already. My mom got me so good. She's fucking savage. Okay, so here's the thing. She got Lyra and me. Okay, and like she was like, I have this gift for y'all, and for like months she was like, oh, I can't wait to see you both. I got you this gift. Okay, yeah. So, and it is. Oh, don't get me wrong. It's a gift. It's incredible. Okay.
I can't even fathom what. Okay.
All right.
She's pulled out a box.
Yeah.
And inside this box is. Oh my god, is this going to do what I think it's going to do?
I'll play it for you. Are you ready?
She's pulled out a music box.
Okay. I'll give you a little...
With a little strip of paper with notes written on it.
Uh-huh.
And she's going to play it for us.
All right. Let me get it right. I have to figure out how to do it right. Do you understand?
Is that the song?
Feel This,
That's
I've told you before. This
your
is
Rickroll.
our Rickroll song. So my mother, and we get each other.
Dude,
with it.
I thought it was going to be Never Gonna Give You Up, but this is so much better.
It's like a personal Rickroll, and so like we get each other with this song all the time. It's me, her, and Lyra, and we try to figure out clever ways to Rickroll each other with this song, and that's really hard. And so this was like, my mom is, how do we top this? And so like, it's this wooden musical box that plays this song, and they've got them from some random small island like in the Caribbean. And look at this.
Oh my God. It's got the name of the song. It's the Bangles.
Eternal Flame. And so like Lyra and me were opening these and we're like, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Well, what do we do ever to beat this?
Well, that's where the Wabines come in. We need hot tips, warm tips on how you can one up a musical box.
Yeah. It's amazing. I can't believe it. And I have not stopped thinking about it. And she beat us so severely at this game.
You know what? Rhett and Link have their merch. They have updated it, and they have a little grooming kit. It's like a lip balm and hair pomade and stuff like that. And inside of it, they have a comb with certain comb teeth missing.
Oh yeah.
And when you run your finger across it, it plays their theme song.
That's cool.
So maybe you could do that to your mom.
Oh my God.
That's not what a comb sounds like. Okay.
They sound like trumpets.
We have some interesting AF topics today, so I think that we should probably talk about our topics. We've got a return of a favorite, except for that one person who wrote us and said they didn't care about this, but most people love what we've got. But before any of that, before we go any further, I have a dedication and an apology.
Oh.
We didn't dedicate our last episode to anyone because we just started talking.
Yeah, I believe that.
And so this episode goes to our Patreon, Johnny G.
Oh.
Johnny G sounds like I'm just picturing like a rockabilly dude, with like a cuffed jeans and like a white t-shirt and like slick greaser hair, and he's like Johnny G.
Johnny G. Yeah. It was like Johnny Cage.
Johnny G.
Do you feel the same? Or are you only Johnny G?
Seamless. Beautiful. Tell me, what are you speaking on?
All right, here's the thing. I have a book review today, and this is not a witchy book. Period. Like, not even at all. However, it might be one of the most like heartwarming, inspiring books I've ever read, and it's also just a great time. It's humorous and it's wonderful, and it's about animals and people doing good things together. And as I was reading it, I was like, there is such a message here that I feel like it needed to be an episode, even though it's not about anything witchy. The book is called Running With Sherman. And it's written by Christopher McDougall, and it's just an incredible book. And Sherman's a donkey, and it's a story about a donkey, but it's about so much more than that too. It's about all of these people around this animal to take it from where it comes from to where it gets to go, and it's just the best story. And there's some great messages in there that I think are important to talk about, and I really cannot wait to get into it.
You told me that it blew your heart chakra open.
It opened my heart chakra, and I will probably get a little misty-eyed talking about it, just because it's literally just the most sweet, pure, wonderful story.
And I can't wait, because the amount of times that you've seen me get misty-eyed versus the times that I've seen you are extremely disproportionate.
Big difference, yeah.
So... I do want to say that when I came here today, that book was out on your kitchen counter, and I didn't know it was your topic. And I just looked down, and what does it say on it? It says, "The donkey with a heart of gold."
The donkey with the heart of a hero is the subtitle. Heart of a hero. Yeah.
And I said that because it's a book, and it's got this big donkey on the front. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And Macy looks at me dead ass in the face and goes, "Best book I've ever read."
Best book I've ever read. It's so good. And it starts off like, boom, you're in it. Like,
I love that.
And he writes because I'm not huge on nonfiction, But he writes, he's just a born storyteller, and he writes in a very conversational way. So it's like reading a story. It was almost, and it's such a crazy story. It's like fiction.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's wonderful.
All right. And my topic is also something, and I also want to touch on this. Like, we're doing things that we haven't done in a while.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of hard to do these types of episodes when we're apart.
Yes.
The lag makes it weird.
Yeah.
You can't really react.
Conversate as well. Yeah.
It's not so much so we saved a lot of Herbert Sherbert episodes and stones and crystals and stuff when we're apart. But now we're together again, baby, and we got shit. That's what it is. We've got shit.
We've got shit.
Wow, we've got shit. But I want to talk to you. I'm doing the basics of kitchen witchery.
Nice. I'm excited for this.
Yeah, and I do kind of want to just like state up front that this isn't going to be a bunch of this isn't necessarily a breakdown on different herbs that you can use in the beginning. It's more like, what is a kitchen witch? Like super basic. Like before you even get into that kind of stuff, like am I a kitchen witch?
It's an overview.
Oh. It's a wide swath.
There you go.
Surface level.
Bringing it back.
What did we say we were? We were the happy hour? The $2 Tuesdays of...
Yeah, that's right. We were like the $2 Tuesdays.
Not top shelf.
Yeah.
But before this, we've got, again, a return of the Mac.
I have not really read this section. I just read the header of the section and knew that that's where we needed to go.
So, everyone who's been wondering where the beak is... The beak is back.
Beak is back. Beak is back and ready to play.
And I doubtfully. She is such a tight ass. I don't think so.
I don't know if she plays ever.
If you're a new listener, this is a segment we used to have before the days of the pandemic or the Panini or the Patricia or whatever we're calling it now. That this is an old etiquette book written by a woman in the 30s, I believe.
Let me see. Let me find it. 1938 is when this was printed.
Right. 1938. I'm assuming that it took a little while to write. And so there are Edwardian influences here, I think, in this book. But either way, it's very old school etiquette type stuff. And what do you have a banger for us today?
I don't know if I do or not, but the title of it is what made me want to. I have not read this at all, but I just opened it and saw this. This is, there's so many. Chapter, what is this? Fucking 21?
Is it Roman?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Woman and Her Club.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Are we talking a club of people or like a hand club?
Like a club of people.
Like a women's club.
Yeah, exactly.
A luncheon club.
Because that's all you did all day. And
yeah.
Played fucking cribbage and shit.
What is cribbage?
It has that little wood board thing, the little pegboard thing. And I don't know. I was talking to Hunter about this the other day. I want to learn how to play cribbage. And they play it on Letterkenny all the time. And I'm interested.
Okay, sure.
So the quote here, the chapters always have a quote.
Always.
Good manners are the technique of expressing consideration for others.
Again, back at it with the just throwing words together.
Yeah, I swear.
Did your brain disconnect halfway through that?
Yes, I can't even retain it.
I have no idea what you...
It slides right off of my gray matter skin.
I know. Ew.
And so here we go.
Your squalene tissue.
Squalene. If the familiar saying is true that the perfect clubman is the perfect gentleman, it is equally true that the perfect club woman is the perfect gentlewoman. And a gentlewoman is a gentlewoman, no matter where you find her.
Beak, what you talking about? That I don't understand. What is a club woman?
How many times was she going to say gentlewoman?
I think we should bring gentlewoman back.
I do like that.
I like gentlewoman.
You get gentleman?
Yeah.
Gentlewoman.
Gentle fellow.
Oh, fellow.
Fellow, gentle being.
Oh.
Gentle being.
Being. Oh. Every relationship we have toward our club is indicative of every relationship we have toward everything else in life.
What?
That's not true.
I hate this.
That's terrible advice. When we go from our homes to attend a meeting of our club, our manners, good or bad, go with us, and we reveal ourselves as courteous women, or, as quite often happens, women who are usually courteous, but who are thoughtlessly discourteous, quote, at times.
Me, bitch.
Yeah, me too. Like everyone else, because I'm a breathing human being.
Also, I like to pretend that she's just talking about a gang.
Yeah. So this is the new member. So I guess this is if you're the new member of the club.
Loser.
Yeah. Loser. If you are the new member attending your first meeting, bear in mind the value of the first impression.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Be well groomed and dress appropriately according to the nature of the club and the time of the meeting. Usually, your sponsor calls for you and accompanies you to the first meeting. What is a sponsor in this sense?
I don't understand. Maybe you have to have someone basically vouch for you to get in the club.
You know, like also like in a gang.
In a gang,
yeah. It is indeed reassuring to make our appearance at the first meeting with the help of a guiding hand. Remember this later when you are a sponsor. You will, of course, be ready when she calls for you, all smoothed out, ready to meet your new friends.
I love smoothed out.
Smoothed out?
Dude, from now on, when somebody's like, hey, you want to do something? And I got to say, like, hey, let me get ready. I'm going to say, let me get smoothed out.
Smoothed out?
Yeah.
That's a surprising, kind of cool thing for her to say.
Yeah.
Let me text him to get the thoughts. Oh, this is a thick paragraph. Respond to all introductions simply and graciously.
All introductions.
All of them.
Simply. So someone's like, hello, Macy Fraser. I am so-and-so of so-and-so. And you just go, yes.
Hi. But remember also that you are the one being received. And so do not be too informal in what you say or do. So be simple, but not too simple. You know, know the line. Step lightly and slowly as you are making your club contacts.
Have you ever tried to do that thing where you glide across the floor? You know what I mean? Like you take real wide steps.
Oh, yeah.
And you just try to like not bob your head as you move.
That's what
you do that across,
casually. Begin at the beginning.
Fuck off.
And learn that the customs and traditions and aims of the club. These are what give the personality to the club, and you should regard and respect that personality as you regard and respect the personality of a person.
This is the mafia.
Jane Brown may be an original person full of ideas, but she should not be aggressive about setting them forth at the first meeting.
Are you kidding me?
An opportunity will doubtless come when these ideas will be very valuable, perhaps when she has been made a member of a committee. The women of taste waits for this opportunity to play a more active role than is appropriate at the first meeting.
Is this Angela from The Office?
It's really, actually sounds about right.
Party planning committee.
If the aim of the reception committee to make you feel it is the aim of the reception committee to make you feel that you are now, quote, in the family. It is the mob.
It is the fucking mob.
Your winning manner will indicate your appreciation of the courtesies they are extending to you. When you are appointed to serve on a committee or asked to take part in any other duty or club activity, you accept graciously and willingly. And in your cooperation and active participation, show your well-directed sense of responsibility to a trust. If you were the older member of a club, you will remember how, when you were a newcomer, you were given a cordial welcome. You greet a newcomer, then, with a friendly smile, say some pleasant thing that makes her feel your interest. Include her in the topic of conversation of the group in which you and she may be, and do anything else that will make her feel at home in the club.
Anything else.
And there's a small section here that's when the gavel sounds.
Does this sound like a fun club to you?
No, it really doesn't. Stop talking when the gavel sounds. No matter how important or engaging is the conversation you are having. And this does not mean merely lowering your voice or changing it to a whisper. It means giving instant and courteous attention to the president. The hallmark of gentility is kindness, consideration for the feelings of others.
Okay. This sounds like a club made by somebody very bossy who's just like, okay, when this gavel goes off, you guys got to stop talking and listen to me.
Yeah, no, it sounds like hell. It sounds like hell.
It's like how I would instruct people to play birthday games at my birthday party when I was a kid. Very, very bossy child.
Oh, this is nice. The despair of every president and of every speaker is the inattention of those who should be listening under the breath remarks. Whoa. A lack of interest in an upturned or downturned face in the audience. An inappropriate, witty remark.
Getting heckled.
Yeah.
Well, be better.
Yeah, be a better speaker. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Listen to us over here making under our breath remarks.
I know it. So let's see. Let me find a good place to close here. All right. A friend of mine, a very wise and witty on the subject of books, told me recently that at a time when she was asked to give a talk at a woman's club in a large town rather proud of its love of culture, one of the members passed the entire hour drawing sketches in her sketchbook of this and that in the room. A vase of flowers on the corner of the piano, a pleasantly curtained window seat, the posture of a listener in a row in the front. That woman, more ambitious as an artist than sensitive as a woman, made the speaker's afternoon doubly difficult.
Because a bitch was sketching.
I've done that a million times. Not to be like an asshole, just because.
Well, be more interesting. Hold people's attention.
Yeah, be a better speaker. I mean, don't just drone on probably and be terrible.
Also, I love how we're actually literally telling women to not have to like put their ideas and their talents aside.
Yeah. And just be drones.
And just be here and be like, you can speak when spoken to.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Forgot how much Beak kind of sucks.
Yeah, no, she sucks a lot.
Are you ready to tell me about a donkey?
Do I go first today?
You sure do.
I'm really glad I do, because I really am ready to tell you this. And the reason that I brought this book in here is that, well, one, I'm going to read a section. So it's funny that we brought Beak back today, because I'm going to close with an excerpt from this book that isn't about like etiquette. It kind of is. It reads like some bullshit she would write. And it stuck out to me, and I dog-eared the page, but there's also pictures in here.
Perfect.
And so you can see the animals. Like there's
a shepherd. What's his name? Sherman.
So I can't wait. I can't wait to talk to you about this. It's such a good book, and it raises so many interesting points about so many things, because the way that he writes is that in order to explain one thing, you have to explain the backstory. So if there's a character, you know, like an animal, and they're all characters, I will say character, because they really are. He goes into their personalities, and they all play a really important role. But to like understand them, he's got to explain how he got them and where they all came from. And I really like that. And because of that, this book goes down a ton of different avenues. It has really, really interesting writings on mental health. And some really, it's something that he takes very seriously. A character in the book is recovering, and, you know, kind of via Sherman and whatnot. And so it goes into that and the chemistry of the brain. And it's just, it goes everywhere. It's fascinating.
I got to tell you, I don't want to seem like I'm making light of it at all. I'm mostly giggling because it's a book with a picture of a donkey on it. Donkeys are funny. And it says donkey with a heart of gold or whatever.
It's unexpected.
It's unexpected. So I am in no way trying to make light of it or anything. But I will say I was not expecting any of that, what you just said.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
And so the way that I heard about this, and so he wrote another book called Born to Run, which is kind of what got Hunter and me in our barefoot shoes, like this kind of primitive style of running. He wrote it, and it's another incredible story. But like Hunter, he listens to books on Audible all of the time. And so,
is this an Audible sponsorship?
On Audible. And so he listened to Born to Run, and then he saw that this author wrote this other book, Running with Sherman, you know? And this was like 6 months ago or so, and he finished it, and this was then, and he was like, you need to read this book. You specifically will love this book.
So Hunter's read this also.
Hunter has. And so, I know why he wanted me to, after I was like, yeah, this is me, Allie, right now.
Me, Allie.
So, and what makes it interesting, so Christopher McDougall, the author, I'll call him Chris, because Chris is like, he's called Chris by everybody.
Sure.
And,
can we just call him McDougall?
McDougall.
All right.
He didn't really like want a donkey, you know, like he wasn't like in the market for a donkey.
I mean, seems like a strange thing to just be about.
I want one now.
I mean, yeah, but you have land.
They do too.
Oh, okay.
So he lives in actually not too far from, I don't know where it is this year for certain, but last year, like right in the Anahata's Purpose area. It's in Lancaster area of Pennsylvania.
We could have met him.
Yeah, this area, this like not even if I don't even know if it's a full town called Peach Bottom, but it's like off the grid. They call it the southern end. It's like in Amish country.
Oh,
so a lot of his neighbors are like traditional Amish. Like they grow their own food, animals, things like that. And so he lives in a small farm, and he's got a bunch of different goats and sheep and whatnot. They didn't have a donkey. And so he had lived by now in his rural farm for a good long while. I think he has like a, you know, some like preteen daughters, you know, so they've been there a good while. And he has all these different animals, and most are talked about, or a lot of them are. And they're very important characters in Sherman's tale. And Sherman comes in right at the beginning, and it's kind of dire. So a friend of Chris, his name is Wes, and he's a Mennonite neighbor, and another member of his church he found out was like an animal hoarder. And so Wes was trying to work with this owner to relocate the animals out, because unfortunately in a lot of animal hoarding cases there's severe neglect. Yeah. And he had a whole bunch of these animals, and so Wes is like, look, hey, how about this? For 2 years, we'll let them go live somewhere else, get healthy. It gives some money for you, can get you out of a bind, in the hopes that he would just kind of forget about them, and, you know, they could keep the animals
I'm
away.
Better not having all these animals.
Yeah. And so Wes is like, there's this donkey there, you know, would you take him? Like, would you, you know? And so Chris is like, why not? You know, like, we'll just turn him out and he can eat grass. And, you know, the girls they kind of wanted one. They talked about wanting a donkey, you know, and he was like, sure.
Keep the coyotes away.
Yeah. You know, they'll go get a pet. And they go see him though. And so Chris takes his 2 daughters and to this hoarder's location, and they don't find what they expected. Like, it went from, we'll see if we'll take him, to like, no, we need to get this animal out of here. So locked in pretty much this tiny stall to where he couldn't even really turn around very well. And he was up to his knees in rotten straw, mud, feces. Like, it's like literally nothing had been cleaned out, and it had just been accruing. And so he's just standing like up to his knees in just filth. And just a real mess. And they don't really even know the extent yet. And so he kind of, you know, the owner's like got treats or whatever, and he kind of slowly kind of walks down. He can't move very well. And Chris, in the book, it's like he's just in stunned silence. Like, he's just looking at this animal. And the owner, you know, like they say, like, yeah, we'll take him. You know, later that night, the owner changes his mind. And it's like, no, you can't take him.
Well, I'm going to break in and steal him.
Well, and so Wes comes to save the day again. And is like, look, remember, it's just 2 years. It's not a big deal, you know. And so he relinquishes the donkey. And so the book opens with Sherman arriving at Chris's farm on the trailer. And it's bad, you know. And so Wes is bringing him, and they get a good look at him for the first time. They kind of see what they're dealing with here, and it's terrible. So, I mean, basically his fur is so like crusted up with that like rotten straw dung mix that like his belly is supposed to be white. It's pitch black. Parts of his fur had like torn away, and like raw flesh was exposed, and like parasites were all in it. And he was really bloated and like barrel shaped, had poor nutrition, full of worms. His skin was coming off, and his teeth were so rotten that they touched one and it fell out.
Oh my God.
I mean, severe neglect. Like,
whoa.
And so the worst part though were his hooves, which probably had never been trimmed. And so the way that there's a picture of him in here of what he looked like. So his hoofs had turned upwards in like these crescent moons to where he couldn't even walk anymore. And so he's on the trailer, and they're like, I don't know how do we get him off? He can't move. And so like Chris has to like kind of get his arms underneath him and they have to walk him off the trailer, and he doesn't really even react. Like, he doesn't see his feet.
Oh no, they look like elf shoes.
Yeah, like little
curled
clogs.
up, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, you
man.
can't, it's like he's all shaggy and he's all tore up, and it's just
pitiful.
pitiful.
I bet he felt awful.
And so they finally get him off the trailer, and he calls another guy over who's like a farrier, hoof trimmer. Like, he just works with, that's like his bag. And, you know, and Chris calls him and it's like, no, you don't understand. Like, this is serious.
ASAP.
Like, you need to prepare for this. And he's like, oh, I've seen everything, you know. And so he gets there and he's like, I've never seen anything like this. And so basically they just take a hacksaw, like a manual saw, and just start going at his hoofs. And that's all that they can do to even see if he can live. Because, you know, that's what the thing was, is like, you know, the guy walks up and he's like, we've put down animals for way less than this. Like, this is serious. And so, you know, they start sawing off these hoofs, you know, and Chris is, you know, kind of thinking at this time, and he quotes in the book, he says, you know, we wanted to help a creature in need, but this kind of creature and this kind of need was way beyond anything they'd imagined. You know, it was like, this was real.
It is a biting off more than you could chew. Yeah.
And that's kind of like the feel in the air is like, okay, this is a really sick animal, you know? And they cut his hooves and trim them, and he still won't walk. And they're like, fuck, this is bad news, you know? And so they get some straw and they get some water, and he won't eat and he won't drink. Like, he just stands stock still, and he leans against the barn, and he just has his head kind of down, and he's just like in a complete daze, just like a stupor. You know, in like one part of the book, you know, and this is just how bad a shape he is. Like, they cut the hoof parts off and they're already rotting. So, like, they were rotting on him.
Body.
On him. Ugh. Yeah, because he had just been in that moist, wet, like, 2 feet or well, he's a miniature donkey, so, like, only, like, foot, but still, like, of just muck.
To him,
it's up to his knees.
Yeah, halfway up his body.
And, you know, so it was, like, rotting off of him. And, you know, basically, like, Scott, you know, the guy, the hoof cleaner, is, like, working on him and whatnot. And, you know, he has hope for him. You know, and he quotes at one point, like, he says, I don't know, though, like, if he's not walking by tomorrow, all we can do is make him comfortable before he goes. But he also did notice he's very attuned to, like, donkey animal behavior, which Chris is not. Like, he has no clue, you know? And this book really explains how complicated and intelligent these animals are. So they're not sure, but this is where Tanya comes in. And Tanya is an incredible, and I do promise you, this gets to a point that I want to make, but I have to set the scene here. You have to understand kind of who Sherman is, what's going on here, and what the story is about. So
I'm just waiting to see if Tanya is a human or not.
Tanya's a human.
Okay.
And Tanya's a powerhouse. So just a force of nature of a woman. So she's like, she rescues animals like on the way to the slaughterhouse. You know, like she's a big animal lover. She lives on a farm with Scott. Scott is her husband as the book opens. And
Scott is the
he's the hoof like,
dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so she just adds so much heart to this story. She's just an incredible character, and she's an expert, like an actual trained, like educated expert on livestock behavior. And so she comes over to help Sherman to see if there's anything she can do. And so she brings like everything. She's got her medical kit, her shears, just to try to see, you know, anything that she could do to help kind of get Sherman to a point to where Chris could then shampoo him and, you know, try to clean him up. So, she kind of starts this journey though. And so she tells Chris, look, if he makes it, you can't just stick a ribbon on his tail and leave him standing in a field like Eeyore. He's been abused and abandoned, and that can make an animal sick with despair. You need to give him a purpose. You need to find him a job.
Oh.
And so that's
smart animals need that.
Like, yeah. He needs a purpose, you know? And so Chris, that's where the idea of what this is about happens. And Sherman has no idea at this point what he's just received as his job. And even at the time, like, he still hasn't eaten. And even this is the next day that Tanya comes over, and he's still leaning against the barn. Dazed. And he can't do anything. So this is a pipe dream of an idea that Chris has, you know, and Tanya doesn't even know about it yet. But let's step away from the story. We'll come back to it. But I do want to talk about why I felt so compelled to talk about this book. And it was like, I was reading it and I was just like, I need to read this. I need to talk about this book. So in telling Sherman's story, kind of like I mentioned before, he weaves it all together with these other stories, and it explains kind of the current predicament that we've put ourselves in modern society as people, and as well as research and whatnot that discusses the connection between humans and animals in a way that I wasn't aware of, and it's really, really fascinating. And when I hit that, that's when I knew that I really wanted to talk about this, because while it's not witchy, I think for like the spiritual community, it's interesting to talk about. So he goes on eventually to explain way, way, way back when we weren't the only humanoid species. There were Neanderthals, and we weren't even the best. Like, we were kind of like lower down on the food chain, you know, like we were good thieves, kind of scavengers, you know, but there was like Neanderthals, fucking wolves, and then us, you know, like we weren't doing that great. And, kind of third on the food chain, you know, which is not where you really want to be. And we were a lot of times just eating what wolves and shit left behind. You know, we weren't good hunters, really, you know, like we didn't have many skills. However, our species decided to befriend animals instead.
We had big brains.
Yeah. And we were like, you know, we kind of fucking suck at pretty much everything, but these animals are really good at it. And it's like that helped kind of our species explode and take over. And, you know, whether it be canine or equine, like all, you know, like everything in between over the next thousands and thousands of years, humanity alongside animals just kind of dominates. And it's via this balance of codependence to each other. And eventually, over thousands of years, it's gone beyond that. That's an instinctual need for us. Our species grew to the prominent place that it is by codepending on animals. So it's almost in our DNA at this point to need to do that, because that's what we've done. You know, we've basically in the last 100 years changed gears completely when instinct takes much, much longer to get there. Yeah. And you know, in order, you know, basically scientifically they've proven when we're around animals, we have these biological things that happen to us, like brain waves that show that we feel much safer. Things like blood pressure can be reduced. Oxytocin is released in pretty high amounts. Things like that, you know, being around them, even if it's just like being around a dog, not even like a working animal, it's instinctual for us. And you know, we used to depend on animals to survive, period. I mean, if you needed to travel, you needed a horse and, you know, maybe a fucking carriage or wagon. You had horses if you needed to go anywhere, and you better fucking take care of it, because horses are expensive, and an animal dying could be the difference between you making it through winter and not.
I mean, that's what happened in the Oregon Trail.
Yeah. You know, and so you took care of each other. It was a real coexistence between people and their animals. And, you know, goats provided the family with milk and, you know, sometimes with meat. And you make sure that they thrived and were healthy. And, you know, people trained birds, fucking raptors, to hunt. And, you know, kind of this man and beast working together. And that's how we got to where we were. And it wasn't just being with animals, it was understanding animals. People being able to work in a symbiotic relationship with, you know, whether it be, you know, livestock, horses, dogs, wolves, hawks, you know, whatever it was that we used to work with to depend on our survival. That kind of mental connection benefited us emotionally and mentally. Like it gave us the brain drugs that made us feel complete, because that's kind of how we evolved, is to need animals to be complete. But the problem is, though, is that we've forgotten all of this completely. And, you know, as modern society has erupted in the industrial era, and cars got rid of the need for horses, right. And, you know, wrapped plastic containers full of already pre-cut meat disconnected that kind of, you know, it's not even something that is thought about. You just go pick it up and you cook it. And there's no connection there, you know, that link. We don't coexist anymore.
Yeah, it is strange that, like, for most people, I guess, there are obviously still people who have farm animals and whatnot, but it kind of extends to pets, and that's it.
Well, and he goes to talk about pets. He's like, we do all have pets, but we don't understand them.
Right.
You know, we don't understand their mannerisms. Like, you know, reasons like why like Caesar or whatever that guy's name is such a multi-fucking millionaire as a dog trainer.
Yeah.
It's because we don't understand our animals.
Yeah.
We have them, but we've lost all of that instinctual ability or that need to learn how they work, you know? And so we kind of just live with them, but we don't live with them. Not like how we used to where we could look at their mannerisms and they could look at us and kind of work in that team, you know? So that lack of no longer coexisting with animals, not to mention we're in our climate controlled houses, you know, we're just very cut off. We're cut off from nature and everything's taken care of for us. You know, our homes are usually heated and cooled. You turn on the tap and the water comes out.
Oh, yeah.
And food is provided to us from places we never see.
Shows up from HelloFresh.
You know, and all we do is just go get it and bring it home, or it comes right to us. And missing from all of that is the animals. You know, we don't communicate with them anymore. And it seems like he goes into a fair amount of research that it's really hurting us. Like it's of course not in all of the explanation as to a lot of the like emotional and mental issues going on today, but
paired with it,
it's a definite exacerbator of the problem.
Well, because as quickly as things came and kind of took over the jobs and purposes and whatever that we had for animals, so did I don't remember what episode it was, but we talked, maybe it was Crystal Palace, where we talked about how quickly technology has advanced and we as a species we haven't had enough time to adjust to it.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe that's some explanation for the rise in things like, I don't know, depression and shit like that. And of course,
right,
we know what it is now and we can identify it and it's always been around, yada, yada, yada. But the thing is, we're still cave people. We are no different than cave people.
We're putting ourselves in a situation, and he says the same thing. So essentially in the last 50 to 100 years, in this modern era, we've erased tens of thousands of years of instinctual partnership and bonding with animals.
We suck.
And we are not catching up. We can't, our brains are still needing and wanting that relationship, those chemicals that come from being in that, and we're not giving it to them, and it's causing problems. And it just really, really fascinated me. And I was reading that, I was like, this seems interesting to talk about. I've not thought about it like that before. And so that's why horse therapy, things like that, that's why that's really kind of, the research on this is becoming more and more, fleshed out. And so you're getting programs like that, animal therapy. They're studying the relationship between service dogs and PTSD, why that works. And it's that codependence. You take care of the animal and the animal takes care of you, and getting that release of endorphins, that comes from that relationship really is helping with PTSD. And so it's fascinating. So studies have shown that the effects of animal interaction in our brains, especially the big ass burst of oxytocin, which is the love hormone, or love chemical, it comes from interacting with them, and the positive impacts are really impressive. So, you know, there was this study that it kind of goes into to where for PTSD sufferers, they had like this nasal spray of oxytocin, and the problem is the dosing was really tricky. It was hard to get it right, and it worked, but it was difficult to, you know. And so then like their plan B study was just dogs. And it worked better. And there was no issue with the dosing, anything like that. And like it actually yielded better results with patients just by having them around animals and, you know, having something to take care of. In cases of healing, body rebuilding, it's nuts. It's even more fascinating. So according to the book, you're twice as likely to survive your first year after a major coronary event if you have an animal that depends on you.
What?
So it like helps your survival drive if you have an animal to take care of, and they help you heal that relationship. We're supposed to have it. And cancer patients reported reduced symptoms of anxiety and depression, even if they just had like an hour of animal therapy a week. You know, like animals were coming in and working with them. Something even as simple as a fish in the room can help. Just having that knowledge that you are taking care of an animal and it depends on you. And you can also from it get this love,
Yeah.
you know? And so here's a quote from the book. The real question isn't what we get from the animal, it's what we lose without them. If the animal-human bond improves our lives in every way, if the sick get stronger, the traumatized feel safer, and our children learn faster, our prisons become safer, then the reverse is also true. Without animals, we're weaker, we're sicker, we're angrier, more violent, and more afraid. We've taken ourselves back in time, back to those desperate days when humans were alone on the planet, peering at wolves and hawks and wild cats from a distance, and wishing we could somehow connect. Once we became allies, we had it good until we turned our backs on the best friendship we ever had. And that really resonated with me really, really hard because I do love animals and I live out here and I have my chickens and whatnot, but I don't truly understand them. You know, I'll take care of them and try to make sure they're happy, but like, I don't have that, I don't have quite that connection. I don't have that knowledge, you know, I've not needed it. And as I'm trying to focus in on things like that, there is just a wonderful peace that comes with it to know that and like the eggs that we get from the chickens, and you know, I pour the love in and we get and it's just this wonderfully satisfying relationship. And I do feel like there's just great peace to it, you know, and it's ancient. It's an ancient activity, harvesting eggs from chickens.
Oh God.
But it feels so intense to do it. And it's because, you know, and we've essentially isolated ourselves from everything that we've known since we've existed, and everything that made us what we are. We've completely backed away from it in the sense as what makes us human, these earth creatures, these earth animal humans, what we were. And so now we're kind of something else. We're a different thing. We're this other from this world that we live in. And so the connections, instincts, you know, especially the ones with the animals working in harmony with the land and just kind of living again in that like symbiosis, you know, it's gone. Yeah. And many of us don't even know how to subtly communicate with our pets. I know some, you know, like I know how to approach dogs and things like that.
You know more than most, I would say.
Like, but it's not, I still want more, you know, like I don't know. There's something about it that's interesting, but let's pause on that. Let's step back to the story.
Okay.
Let's get back to Sherman. So Tanya comes and she cleans him up. She shaves away all of his rough fur and they try to clean his skin and things like that. You know, his feet, they're trying to keep his feet clean. And, you know, he's still leaning against the barn and his head's lowered and he's not eating. And, you know, she says whether he was, in the book, it says like whether he was frightened or in pain or just confused, we still couldn't tell. But things aren't looking good, you know, like usually when an animal doesn't want to eat, things like that, that's not a good sign. And it was nighttime now. So night chores had to be done, such as moving their little herd of goats and sheep into the barn to sleep. You know, it's nighttime.
Is he going to get a buddy?
So, well, he's worried because Sherman is leaning against the barn they need to run into, and they need to run past him, and they'd not really met him yet. And he's this very frail, sick animal, you know, like he's fragile and he's scared. And so, like, he's very concerned that this herd of aggressive sheep or goats are going to see him and be like, what the fuck? And, like, charge him, you know? And, you know, he says typically the animals are gentle. Like, they have young kids and they play with their animals and, like, interact with them. Yeah. You know, and he's like, typically they're gentle, but you just never know, you know, especially with, like, goats and sheep. And the way that this was worded, this is the change. This is the gear shift. And I love how so Chris opens the gate. And so luckily the herd like kind of runs right by. They don't even give a fuck. They don't even see him.
They didn't go, what the fuck?
Until, quote, suddenly one of them froze in his tracks. I peered through the dark, hoping it wasn't ... Yep, here comes Lawrence. So... Uh-oh. And I love all of his animals have great names. Lawrence. They have great names. So Lawrence is an Oberhasli goat. So they have, and his ears are like half as long as they should be because when he was a little baby, he was born in a snowstorm and his ears frostbit. So he only has like half of his ears. And he's a handsome little fellow. Here's a picture of Lawrence. I'll show him to you.
I would like to see Lawrence.
Yeah. And Lawrence, bless him. So this is Lawrence.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a cutie.
He's got a little slicked back horn hair.
Yeah, look at him.
And so Lawrence is a character. He's just this hellion, happy fucking goat. He loves people. He wants all the love and the pets and attention. And this breed of these Oberhasli goats, they're like they're like the Labradors of the goat world. They're bred to be friendly.
Okay.
But they also make like a shit pile of milk. So that's like one thing.
He wasn't like, I hope it's not Lawrence because Lawrence is an asshole.
Well, Lawrence...
He's just got a lot of...
doesn't know boundaries.
Yeah. He's a puppy.
Yeah, exactly. And so... this is kind of like his word. I'll tell you a bit about Lawrence.
Please do.
Lawrence was genetically wired to crave cuddles and elude anything that tried to prevent them.
I love this goat.
He's such a mess. I love him to death. So and here's still the book. During thunderstorms, we'd be startled by a sudden pounding at the door before remembering that it was just Lawrence feeling lonely and wanting to come inside. So he's just like a bro. And he loves to get pets and cuddle and treats. And the thing is, though, is these Oberhasli goats can jump more than regular goats. Like they have like they're like spring-heeled jack.
Yes.
They can just sail. And he escapes all of the time. And he wants to just go check out whoever wants to see him. Like in the mornings, he'll like get out and then like go hang out at the bus stop where the kids will share their lunches with him. Like he's just a ham hock. Like, and you know, he comes like, and all the neighbors, like he like lent him to a neighbor because they had a different kind of goat that is also a milk goat. And they're like, we'll make a hybrid like these, like, and then they like bring him back 2 days later. He says like in shame in the crate. And they're just like, take him back. Like he's too fucking much. And so, and he's always in the road. Like the horns will come out and Chris has to like go get him because he just wants to like see people. Yeah. That's all he wants. And so
this is about to, I feel like this is going to turn into like a buddy cop movie.
He comes like trotting right up to scared and damaged Sherman, no. You know, and Sherman was cornered. And so this is from the book, quote, chummy as he was, Lawrence was the last one I wanted anywhere near a dazed, traumatized donkey whose badly damaged feet and months of captivity in a tiny shed left him practically immobile, a sick and sitting target. I braced myself and hoped Lawrence would change his mind and hurry off once he noticed the herd had left him behind. Instead, he did something I'd rarely seen him do before. He took his time. And Lawrence starts very slowly, kind of nervously. He approaches Sherman really gently, and he proceeds to gently sniff all the way around him. Like starts at his shoulder, even in the kick zone. He like goes all the way, or as much as he can. You know, he's pressed against a shed, slowly just kind of sniffing. And Sherman doesn't kick. He just stays. He's like tense, you know. And then this is from the book, and this is very sweet. So, whatever story Lawrence's nose picked up must have troubled him, because he then did something that in an instant made up for every flower bed he had ever ruined, every driver he had ever terrified, every torn fence I had to replace. Lawrence lay down beside the sick donkey, curled his legs beneath him, and settled in for the night. It's the sweetest. So
he was just like, hey, bud.
Yeah. You're like, oh, you need a friend. You need a buddy.
I'll stay up with you.
So come sun up. Remarkably, Lawrence was still there. He had not gone to the bus stop. He thought, no, this is more important.
Oh. And
Sherman was still alive. So Lawrence, however, is a simple goat. And at feeding time, he gets up and fucks off. So, you know, he has like the hay ring, and he puts like a half bale in the hay ring, and all the sheep and the goats are all waddling up, you know, for breakfast time. And, you know, here's how this is from the book. I shoved a half bale of hay into the hay rack and got out of the way, leaving the critters to tear into their meal. Behind me, I sensed something approaching. I turned and found Sherman taking a few slow, tentative steps. He stopped a few paces away from the hay feeder, keeping himself clear of the mayhem. But as Lawrence shifted to the left, so did Sherman. When Lawrence spotted a better place to attack the food and moved to the right, Sherman quietly followed. So for the rest of the morning, for the first time, Sherman moves and he eats, and he starts to show maybe some bit of survival, something, you know.
And he's also kind of tailing Lawrence.
Yeah, he's got a buddy. He's got a friend, you know, and he'd never seen other animals. Like literally, he was locked in a barn alone. I don't know for his whole life, but as long as he was in that location. And he loves animals. There's so many different, like a cat at one point. He's just, if any animal Sherman sees, he's just is enamored with, and he loves them. But why is this book called Running with Sherman? So remember the job thing? Chris got this job idea. So we can't talk about this until we talk about burro racing. So in particular,
oh my gosh,
Chris wants to take Sherman to the World Championship burro race in Leadville, Colorado. Not just any burro, the World Champion, the one, the big one.
It seems very ambitious.
So let's talk about this. This is actually very, very, very fascinating. And the racing is very interesting. It's not what you think. It's not like it's a deep connection between human and donkey. And you don't ride the donkey, you run with them. You both run the race side by side, like together. So I love it. This history of the burro racing, the running with the donkeys, is fascinating. So it ties back to the gold rush days. So from the early panning days, like even the early days, people, prospectors had their donkeys, and donkeys are incredible animals, and they can travel a very long way and carry a lot of weight. And they're very smart and also very perceptive. Like people, when you kind of get into the understanding and you like bond with your donkey, you can watch them and they know when predators are near. They know everything. You just watch their ears and they're always listening, and they have 360 vision pretty much. And so
they'll tell you when a snake's in your path.
They know everything, And so donkeys were always there from the beginning with gold mining and gold panning and everything like that. And, even down when, it graduated from just panning to mining with underground mines, and donkeys would be down under there with the miners, carrying carts and whatnot. So they really bonded with these animals, like the miners and the donkeys really kind of forged this relationship together, and they worked together all day long. And more often than not, they were employed by the company. They weren't like their own personal donkeys, but, like they came to kind of care about them.
Company donkeys, yeah.
Yeah, especially in this area, this part of the country. And so, like, before long, like people, like the miners would like bring their kids on the weekend to come meet the donkeys and like give them treats. And then they kind of started busting them out and taking them on hikes in the mountains, and like just hanging out with these animals. And so by the 1940s, the miners were kind of like casually racing each other all over Leadville. I hope it's Leadville. It might be Leadville. Leadville seems right. It got to the point to where donkeys were everywhere. Like you'd walk into a bar and it would not be unusual for them to like have their donkey with them in the bar.
This is Donkey Town.
Like they loved these animals. And like there was one that lived there for like years, and it was like loose. It was the town donkey. There's a statue of it there today. And people would pin notes to its bridle to carry across town for like, it's like, it's just fascinating.
You imagine you're just sitting there, you see this donkey walk by and you see a big sticky note that's like to Macy, and you're like, oh, that's mine.
This is mine.
I gotta see.
So by 1949, this epic challenge was created. So how about a fucking 23-mile burro race stretching up 13,500 feet of a mountain and back down the other side? And if you win, you get $500.
Very low prize for 23 miles up a mountain.
Well, this is 1949 money.
So shit.
Not a bad gig, right?
That's got to be like $1 billion.
Yeah, which is funny because today it's still $500. They've not increased it. So, but again, you're not riding the donkey. No, you're not getting out that easy.
A free ride.
No, you are absolutely not. You're running alongside it, and you hold it with a rope. You have a rope attached to its bridle. And that's your connection. And if you drop that rope, you cannot continue the race until you secure your donkey, go back to where you were, and then pick up again. Oh. But you have to be connected. The whole race is a round connection between like you, human and animal.
What if nobody sees you though?
Well, it's supposed to be an honor system.
Okay.
So, you really kind of have to work as one, and the book goes into, and I'll explain why. I'm not going to get into too many spoilers here because and it is on Audible. So like, if that's kind of what you prefer, it's on there. But like, I do recommend anyone read this book, and I'll go into it a little later why. But like, seriously, nothing's too broken is the message of the book. Like, nothing's too broken ever, and I'll get to that in a little bit. So, but this race, it works. Essentially, your donkey needs to trust you kind of a lot. It needs to know that if it's going to go, and it doesn't really even know what's happening, but if it's going to fucking start going up a mountain, it needs to know, one, you're going to be there with him, you know, like that you're not going to fucking be a problem. And two, like, it's more like, can he depend on you, you know? Like,
right.
And they're very sure animals. They like to be sure about things. So this is kind of where racer and donkey, you have to work together. So it's not like an abusive kind of race, you know, like this is something to where like the donkeys are getting to do what they love to do, you know, like they're getting to, you know, and the runner, the human runner, it's not like to where, you know, they're sitting with whips, like, you know, it's like, no, that's not it at all. They're having to run fucking 30, now it's gotten longer, 30 miles up a mountain, which is like half the height of Everest, I believe, with a several 100-pound animal that can do exactly what the fuck it wants, because donkeys are like cats. Yeah. And it's
famously stubborn.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
yeah. And, you know, and that's part of the thing with Sherman. And so the story that follows is that's what he wants to do. That's his job. He's like, that's this donkey who can't fucking walk.
He's going to go run.
That's what we're going to do. And
up
so
a mountain.
Chris's backstory was that when he wrote Born to Run, he was not a runner, and he actually had some injuries and whatnot, and his doctors told him, you never are going to run. You never can run, ever. And he kind of started learning about different methods of running, the barefoot running, things like that, and, you know, basically indigenous running, the way that humans, you know, like these tribes and whatnot, I believe it's Copper Canyon in Mexico. I need to read that one fully. But anyway, you know, these people who can essentially run 50 plus miles and they're fine, and they do it in sandals because they're running as we should, you know, not with these weird fucking fancy shoes that kick your heel up at an angle. And, you know, it's like, no, they're running with their toes splayed out, just like how our fucking like animal ancestor humans did, the way that our bodies are built to do. And so he started learning that, and then he became a runner, and he's, you know, a very well-known ultra runner. And so I think that was part of it, is he went from being, you know, being told he could never run again to, you know, seeing this animal to where it's like, let's do this, you know.
He's like, maybe he was like, you know, running saved me, as it were.
It did, you know. And so I don't want to spoil what happens. That's very important to me, because this book is a true story, and it is unpredictable, and things happen, and you don't know exactly where it's ever going to go. And there's so many tangents and just good-hearted people and fascinating information. Like, for instance, there's this kid named Harrison, I believe, Harrison. He's autistic. He's a teenager, and he is kind of this, they call him the Blur. He's like an up-and-comer, one of the best current racers. And he's, you know, he's just a kid. But he, you know, it talks about autism and the connection with animals, and how animals, and, you know, like, when he works with these animals, his fits and tantrums and stress and panic attack, you know, things that come with being, you know, symptomatic, like showing real symptoms, like the more stronger symptoms of autism, which he has, you know, some of them being debilitating. Ever since they started putting him with these donkeys, a lot of this has helped kind of level. And of course, he like is not, that's a mental condition. That's not something that's like he cured his autism, you know?
Right.
But it made him much more functional, and he has friends and, you know, can interact pretty well. And it kind of eased his symptoms, which was something that they didn't really expect. And, you know, it's just, it goes into all of these different people. Like, there's this girl who, when she was born, you know, she almost died because her heart pretty much gave out, and she had like almost two instances where she died due to her heart going out. And now she does the same thing, and she's one of the best runners in her state, and also like one of the up and coming burro racers. And she just got, you know, like pushed through. And so it's like, it's just full of characters like that. They're like, fuck it, no, I'm going to do this. Like, I can do it.
Very persevering.
It really, really is. And so, I don't know, and just there's a bunch of great people, but what I love about it is that you don't have to live on a farm to being more human in that sense. You know, like, not everybody has property, you know, like that's unrealistic to ask for, you know.
You're not expecting everyone to go get a donkey.
Exactly, you know, however, but we can just remember who we are, and that's a start, you know, study animals in the natural world around us, you know, kind of fall back into sync with it. learn, our leaders are not going to help us do shit, but maybe we can learn how to help ourselves again, be less dependent on this new industrial system that has kind of taken over our lives and disconnected us from what we are. And it is great. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love my creature comforts as much as anyone else, but it is important at the same time to remember that that's not real in the sense of human nature. That's not human nature.
And it's not like you can't have both.
Exactly. Do a little bit of both. Like, maybe if you live in an apartment or whatever,
get a donkey.
Get a donkey for your balcony. But like, you can. It's astonishing how much food you can grow on a balcony.
Yeah.
Like peas and lettuces and like different things like that are pretty low maintenance. You can be surprised how much you can do. Little things like that, reverting back to remembering what's important and taking care of ourselves and growing, your own food, or even, and this is not like me just plugging myself, it's just something that I have experienced being a very powerful thing, making your own clothes. That moment of putting something on that you made yourself, even though you know that you don't need to do it in order to survive and have clothing, it's like a mental trick to where you look at yourself that you're just like, you almost feel like you did. Like you did something that was important because like I clothed my, I covered that necessary thing.
I mean, it's a sense of accomplishment. And in even kind of talking, Macy and I were talking between ourselves about root chakra stuff and like basic needs. I think it does fulfill that basic need. Like you did clothe yourself. And yeah, you could pop off to Walmart and get you a fucking t-shirt.
Yeah, sure.
But that thing that you made, you're going to treat that with so much more respect. Yeah. You're going to have it a lot longer.
Yeah.
Not just because of the quality, but because there's that connection.
Yeah. You know that you put part of yourself into it. And, people too, another thing I think too, that's kind of interesting. And he goes into this too. So he also talks a good bit about the Amish because he has all of these Amish neighbors.
Oh.
And it's really, really interesting. And, how they're very community oriented and they
fascinated.
Oh, absolutely.
By the Amish.
And he goes in depth a little bit about how they work, and it's of course very easy at face value for me to like kind of see it's a bit more, it's very traditional, kind of rigid society. However, generally they're quite happy people and they're very content. And, it talks about that, like the retention rates, because they have Rumspringa and they have a year to where they can go live as normal, Westerners do. And like, the percentage of the ones that choose to go back is like astronomical. It's like not even close, and so they're generally quite happy. And, and he talks to them and he's very comfortable with some of his neighbors and they're interesting people. And like, they're not just like all, just like they're normal, for lack of a better word.
They're humans. They're not.
Yeah. They're not just complete total, like, I don't know, like
super austere.
Yeah, or judgy or anything like that. They're not at all. And they just band together in that sense of community. And he was talking about that and like, Joe, and like at one point he's like, I get it. I get all this. Sure, that's fine. But like, get a car. Like, why do you want to take these wagons and like it takes hours to get anywhere? And he was like, but that's it. That's the reason. It's that codependence. You get up in the morning, you get your horses ready. You attach them all, you make sure they're fed, it's taking your time. It's having that connection with man and animal, depending on that animal. And it's that right there that leads to so much peace, and they work honest work, they kind of have their own, like, kind of like their own banking system. It's like a community fund. And, it loans can be given to different members if they need to do something or things like that. And they grow their food, they run their own stores, and they do, like, if they need a ride, like a lot of the neighbors in this area, if they're non-Amish and they have cars and whatnot, they'll give them rides for money. And so like if the Amish, if someone in the community needs a ride and they need to go maybe further out, they'll hop in with Chris or Tanya and go. But it was just very, very interesting, and it talked about that same kind of connection that they have with the earth, and they're just overall pretty satisfied. They don't need all of the other shit because from a human standpoint, they have everything that they need. And they have the sense of community, which is something like people used to band together because they fucking had to, like if something happened to one of your animals in the wintertime, or your crop got killed by hail or something, you know, having a community to lean on and to help you and whatnot. You know, I think families used to be, you know, a more, I don't want to say closer, because people can be much more open now with each other, but more tighter knit.
Yeah.
You know, I think the sense of family was more important then.
People relied on each other.
Yeah. And for survival. And that changes things a little bit. You know, you used to have these kind of compounds and whatnot.
I was going to say, a lot of this is sounding a lot like the WBH compound that we're trying to build.
One day. So this kind of instinctual rush that comes from doing something like that directly and positively contributes to your survival is real. And it's wonderful, but it's lost to a lot of us. We're not getting that anymore. You know, I joke about it all the time. Good, honest work. You know, like, you know, every time I like clean the shit out of my chicken, it's like good, honest labor. But like, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm doing that, and I know I'm going to get eggs out of it. You know, and it's like, it's that good. It's something so like, it's like my brain just shoots me full of, you did a good job.
Well, yeah, dude. And it's like, I don't think that everyone has to go out and clean chicken coops, you know. Find the thing that, like, I weirdly enough will get, and I know a lot of people are like this, I'll get like this weird level of satisfaction from doing the dishes by hand.
Oh, for sure.
But if you hate that, you know, we do still live in the modern world. You throw them in your dishwasher. Find something else that fills that primal, like, sustenance-y type need.
I think a great one is growing food. I think it's, you know, and you can start with really easy things, not to like plug my own, but like aquaponics is great for apartments. Like if you don't have a yard, like seriously, you can put LED panels on it and you can grow more food than you could ever need in a very, very small space. When
you said you weren't going to plug something, I thought you were going to be like, I thought you were going to like introduce your new line of homegrown canned salsa, you know?
But like that kind of, and if not only that, it decreases your dependence, you know,
on
plus groceries are very expensive. Fresh produce is very expensive. But also, you know, what's going in it. You know, it wasn't treated with who knows what or sprayed with who knows what. And you get that feeling, that primal satisfaction. It's not just surface value, like, oh, you feel good. Like, no, there's serious brain shit going on when you do that. It's a callback to what we were and what we're supposed to still be and what we were only 50 to 100 years ago. A couple of lifetimes. We are not ready for this, you know? Like, but there's little things you can do, you know, and I understand that. I can't expect it, like, move out to the suburbs and buy some property, you know what? No, you can't always do that, but...
Everyone in the world.
Yeah. But there's things you can do. Pick up fermenting, you know, something like that takes your sustenance, your survival into your own hands. You know, volunteer at animal shelters, work with animals, you know, whatever your calling is, tap back into that. And know that not only is it a hobby, but there's actual shit at work there. And of course, you know, the book really focuses on animals, but I kind of wanted to talk about, you know, a little bit more that there's a lot to it, you know, and it's just like anything regarding that wonderful feeling that knows, like, I took care of myself today, but I didn't just take care of myself in like the, you know, the standard way. I like went a step beyond. And I took care of myself today.
Yeah. And that's a point I wanted to make. You said something about survival. And sometimes when we say you take your survival into your own hands, it's like, oh, well, no, I'm not, because I'm not in a Bear Grylls survivalist situation. But it you don't have to be to have that be how you survive.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like I can survive on chicken McNuggets, which is, I mean, don't get me wrong, I could do. Or I could survive on my homegrown salsa.
You know? And, you know, I think
I really want salsa right now. Yeah, if you can't tell.
I don't know if I've said this on the show before, but I've thought before, like, if I had to think of, like, the one bane of humanity, like, the negative trait, the 7 deadly sin that's not in there is convenience. I think convenience is the downfall of humanity. It's our kryptonite as a creature.
It's sort of, sloth.
Yeah, it is. You know, like horses and buggies were too hard. Now we have cars. Well, now we have climate change that's completely destroying the planet. You know, like
And I mean, there's nothing wrong with making something easier.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing wrong with it, but you kind of have to weigh the pros and the cons of it.
Well, we've made everything easier and
Oh.
worse,
Yeah.
but in its own way, you know, but like literally everything has been made easier. And just because things are more convenient doesn't always mean it's better. And that's again, not to say like, you know, I'm not saying that you need to go live out in like a Unabomber cabin. There's balance that's important that we as a society, especially Western society, have completely blown past. It's the balance that's missing, you know, and perhaps we're meant to struggle a little. You know, it's not like biologically, like that kind of goes into like the Wim Hof method and like the cold water submersion and the effect that has on circulation and different things like that, to where humans as animals would get wet and would shiver. And when you shiver, you get like oxygenization in the blood. And it has like this physiological effect on the body. And we don't get that anymore because everything's climate control. You know, it's like we were supposed to struggle and work and use our bodies and do shit for ourselves instead of be taken care of to the degree that we are. Now, of course, it's great that we are.
Right.
But some things can be peeled back a little, dialed back just a touch.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like how you set seedlings out to weather. You know what I mean? Sometimes putting something out in the elements and putting them against a little stress makes you tougher.
Yeah.
You know, or else you get so soft that you just fall away. You fall away like a Victorian lady and you just weep just and die. But again, I just want to like emphasize, I don't think it has to be in a way that fucking sucks.
No, it doesn't.
I think I get so much enjoyment out of certain things, like you with the sewing clothes, you know, or whatever. Like, I think you just have to find your way that you actually, in a weird way, turn out to like it more. Than whatever you have been doing.
That's how the aquaponics system is. I was telling you about this earlier. Like, I'll just realize I've been out there for 2 hours and the water is running and I'm digging in the rocks, straightening up my little seedlings and making sure everybody's
and it's not a
good.
chore.
No, it is absolute peace. And it also has that hormone chemical dump of being like, you're doing a good job. You're doing such a good job.
You're being a human.
Yeah, and it's absolutely wonderful. And another thing too that I was just kind of thinking about, and he kind of talks about, like, you know, earlier, like how we are angrier as a society. And I think because we don't need each other, we're so much shittier to each other. See, like back in the day, and of course, this is not to say that people have not always been shitty. We know from history that is far from true.
Are you saying there were no wars?
Yeah. However, you might be a little less likely to say that snide bullshit remark that you could 100% hold back if like you need their plow when yours breaks. You know? And it's like, we don't need to do that anymore. And it's easier to be behind your fucking keyboard and being just a fucking shit. And like, I saw something the other day, and this just, these people, I don't understand. Like, and like Sean James posted something on Instagram, and like this was not even related, and somebody commented and was just like, I just need you to know that like I like your older music better. And it's like, you know what? One, suck my cock for
Seriously.
one. Like, why did you?
Well,
why?
It's like, what do you think someone's gonna garner off of that? Dude, it goes back to fucking, if you can't say something nice, you don't have to say anything.
Well, the thing is that what's the repercussion nowadays of doing that? Nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
But when you need Sean James's plow,
see,
he's gonna be like, nah, dude, you said you liked my old shit better.
Yeah. I remember, I just saw that, and I was just like, one, because you all know of my very deep respect for Sean James, but I was like, almost like, he's older than me, but it was almost like big sister energy. I was like, fuck you. Like, it made me mad, you know? And it's like, one, I get bothered when I see that, because of course, like, I've heard musicians and they change musically, and I'm sad by it, but it's also always kind of nice to know they're evolving and doing what they want to do.
And you don't have to just love everything an artist makes, but you
I'm
don't
not
need
gonna
to pipe
tell
up.
them.
Yeah.
They're doing what they want to do. He's writing what he wants to write, and he's making music he wants to make. Fuck off.
Well, do you think he's gonna read that and go, oh shit, fucking Poonslayer 69,
the sweetheart
like,
he is.
whatever.
I think he commented back and was like, "Hey, you do you, buddy." Like, you know, it was just like, I know, he's such a good guy.
Dude, if you really want to see the worst of the worst, go to fucking YouTube comments.
I won't.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I won't. And so, yeah, and that was another thing too. I was like, it's the lack of balance. We've slingshot so far into this society that we're in now to where
get a load of this society.
We're just devolving at this point. You know, we were like, you know, we're more comfortable now, but we were probably better off a little further back.
We reached the tipping point.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this is why this book spoke to me so much. And, you know, and of course, a lot of it is, of course, about Sherman, but I don't want to give too much away about Sherman. Sherman's journey is incredible. And there's characters that come in that just let you know that nothing is as it seems. Like there's this wonderful character named Zeke. He's a person and he's a college guy, this star athlete, you know, and this is when it kind of goes into mental health and, doing great his first semester. He loved his first year at his college he was going to, and in his second semester he tries to hang himself.
Oh shit, yeah.
And luckily survived. He's real big guy, and it broke, and you know, and he fell and survived. And it goes into, you know, really interesting science about to where, you know, he and his sister were growing up like as young kids, like 6-year-old kids, star swimmers. And so they started swimming miles and miles and miles for hours as young kids. And they stopped in high school abruptly after doing it their entire lives. And then both fell into this very severe depression. And it talked about that. You know, it's like, yeah, you know, that's something that people don't talk about with like famous athletes. Like Michael Phelps has spoken out about this, the severe, intense, horrible, crushing depression that can come from stopping athletics immediately, you know, like things like that after. And it's just, that's what I mean. It goes on all of these tangents and it's just like, no, this shit's real. Like this isn't just sadness. Cause like when Michael Phelps came out about that, a lot of people shit all over him about it. Yeah. And it's like, no, literally he's like, some days I can't get out of bed. Yeah. Like I wish I was not alive.
Have you tried just not being depressed?
Yeah. What are you just, how about you just take your $1 million and go be happy?
Yeah. Oh, boo-hoo, cry yourself to sleep on your bed of money.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, I literally will.
His stance on mental health, I really, really appreciate it. It's very real. And Zeke meets Sherman. And that's kind of, they immediately connect.
Get each other.
They immediately connect. It's just an incredible, it's just, I love everything about it. And like for instance, I loved this term, like the autistic kid, Harrison, his dad calls him neurodiverse.
Yeah.
And I really love that term, you know, and it's like, and they kind of like joke about it a little bit, you know, because like his dad is like this cowboy. He lives in the Colorado mountains, tough cowboy.
Yeah.
And so when he had this young son, his wife knew very early on, like, I think something's going on. And he didn't want to believe it. He was like, cowboy type. He's like, what do you mean? You just tough it out.
Yeah.
And it was really kind of hard for him to wrap his head around and know what to do because he's like, you know, you pull your bootstraps kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know, learning how to educate himself about this kind of thing. And you know, he was talking about it to this other man. I think his name, I don't remember if it was, I think Curtis. And Curtis is another wonderful character. And he says, you know, man, if there is, you know, he was like, this spectrum that exists, he was like, we're all probably on it. You know,
I mean, yeah, if it's a spectrum, that's in the, you know, and you're just at different places.
Especially, well, he's talking about the burro racing community. He was like, we're all, you know, a certain, the way.
I thought you just meant all people.
It just, well, that too, you know. But he was like, you know, we're all kind of off the beaten path a little bit, and we connect with these animals better than people. And, you know, if that, maybe, you know, it's common. It's not a big deal, is pretty much what he was saying. Like this, it's okay. Get him with the animals. And he did. And it's just this incredible, you know, thing. And it's just, I love it so much. I don't know. It's just about tapping in kind of to that natural element, finding just the sheer delight of being with animals, helping something for one. It is all about the story of helping this broken thing get better. But in doing so, it tells a story of a bunch of broken things that have gotten better. Aww. And I want y'all to read it. I beg you to read it. I really do. Like, it opened my heart chakra, and I mean that very, very seriously.
And what's the name one more time?
It's Running with Sherman. Christopher McDougall wrote it. It's a blast to read. It's a good time. There's a lot of characters. Like, for instance, you know, you don't know, if you don't read it, you don't get to meet Flower.
Oh.
You know, fucking, you know, Zeke, Curtis, Matildonkey, a.k.a. Matilda. Absolute gem. Chili Dog.
Oh.
You know, Lawrence. Like, it's just...
Chili Dog.
It's wonderful, and there's all these twists and whatnot. I don't know. I needed to talk about it with you guys. I was very inspired by it.
I think that it's cool because you know you know that there's going to be a good handful of beans who go out and listen to this or read it in some way or another. And I think that's fucking cool. And we can have conversations about it. And something that stuck out to me today is when you were talking about it on the live, maybe, that we did, you said it's not necessarily a witchy book, but I wanted to talk about it because I think it has themes that witches need to remember.
Yes.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah. And here's the thing, too. I need to meet Sherman.
Oh.
I was actually tearing up the other day, imagining meeting.
Is he still alive?
Oh, he sure is. This was written in 2019.
Where is he?
So he lives with Chris, and so if you follow Chris on Instagram,
at Chris, everybody at Chris, and tell him about the witch bitch.
Yeah, I need to meet Sherman, you guys. Like, I'm serious. Like, he's in Pennsylvania. I'll drive up there tomorrow and go meet Sherman. But let me see. You can see him on his Instagram. Let me see, Chris McDougall. Chris McDougall author on Instagram.
All right.
If you check him out, there's you have to scroll a little bit, but there's some sweet ass little pictures of Shermy Jeremy. Oh. And I need to meet him so bad. I need to meet, and like, once you read this book, I just need to. I need to be around him and kiss his little forehead.
Oh. I feel uplifted after the story. I do. I love a good story. Oh, this is very close. Do I sound okay?
No, you sound okay.
I love a good, we're all broken, but it's okay kind of a story.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And reading it's even more so. And I didn't even go into the training. Like, the training is incredible. Like, they have to train him how to run with a buddy, you know?
I feel like it's always, I don't want to reduce it to something as simple as like, oh, it's a satisfying thing. But like, it's always satisfying when you see an animal that needs care, like, get the care.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Just be like, ooh, I bet that brushing him out, I bet that was good for him. And getting his little nails clipped, I bet it felt good.
Oh, I'm so sorry. There was one last part I wanted to read. Oh. And it was the kind of Beekman-y part. I folded it. It's very short, but I think you'll get a kick out of it.
Yes.
And it's what's so interesting about this race. And it's very like, I don't know, you'll see.
Is this like race etiquette?
Well, sort of, in a way. It's very interesting. So Edna Miller was awed by the race. So she saw the first, like, you know, this was in the 40s, and she watched one of the first World Championship burro races in Leadville, Colorado. So Edna was awed by the race, a little less by the racers. She watched the miners straggle into fair play, some so exhausted they couldn't speak, and figured those boys weren't doing anything a woman couldn't handle, especially if it meant a $500 payday.
Oh, hoo.
Hold on now, Edna demanded of the miners and muckers. Why can't women run? The miners and muckers looked at one another and shrugged. Who said they can't? Well, how about the International Olympic Committee, the Amateur Athletic Union, and the American Medical Association? For decades after 1949, physicians were still spouting the theory that too much exertion would make a woman's uterus and ovaries shake loose or explode. As recently in 2010, it gets worse.
Kidding me.
As recently as 2010, the president of the International Ski Federation was explaining that ski jumping was not appropriate for ladies from a medical point of view because, of course, it was well known that the uterus could burst upon landing.
Do he think the uterus a balloon? I don't. It's literally an organ. Like, that's like saying your spleen's gonna pop out, and everybody's got one of those.
It's a weak woman uterus.
Oh my god!
And so I loved this. Naturally, the ladies couldn't be trusted to take care of their own organs, so men stepped in.
Well, hey, as is tradition.
Until 1980, women were banned from any Olympic track event longer than 800 meters. Not a 10K, not a 5K, but a 0.0K, less than half a mile. Meanwhile, in Boston, running while female was literally a crime. Any woman who dared attempt the Boston Marathon in the 1960s was subject to arrest by the cops, or, if your dad was in charge, a beating. Quote, "If that girl were my daughter, I would spank her," race director Will Cloney famously snarled after Catherine Switzer finagled her way onto the course in 1967.
I forget things like this sometimes.
I know. But in Leadville, the hard rock miners saw things a little differently. Quote, "Out west, we've always known that women were cut from the same leather as men," said Curtis Emery, the legendary burro whisperer and 3-time world champion who was happy to talk about the many times he'd been smoked by women like Barb Dolan and Karen Thorpe. Quote, "Burro racing has none of that nonsense you have back east about protecting women." In 1951, the miners and muckers not only welcomed Edna Miller to the starting line, but encouraged her to bring some pals. Within 4 years, women were all over the mountain, making up a quarter of the entire burro racing field.
Cool.
Looking back, it's kind of insane that in Boston, grouchy old men with cigars and overcoats would keep declaring until 1972 that women were too dainty to run their marathon, while in Colorado, the, quote, ladies had been tearing up a far more grueling challenge for 20 years. Boston likes to boast that it's America's oldest marathon, but that's true for only some Americans. For the other half of the population, the ones who were outlawed for decades from even entering, it's as if the race didn't exist. So for all Americans, men and women alike, our oldest marathon is the one that's always been open to everyone. It's not going to cost you a fortune, and you don't have to qualify. All you have to do is show up, borrow a donkey, and get ready for battle.
I love it. New activity, wabah. Everyone join in. Everybody, let's all go and do the race.
The race day's nuts, dude. He talks about it. You hear a lot about it. It's pandemonium. It's just wild.
Dude, I bet it is a blast.
I'd love to go.
I bet it is a blast.
Oh, we should go.
I will not run.
I would love to run eventually, but I want to learn, like, seriously, when you read this book and you have to, like, learn how complicated donkeys are and what they're looking for and, like, what makes them comfortable. Like, I wouldn't want to just show up there and run willy-nilly. Not to mention, I would maybe die of altitude sickness because, like, I'm not used to it.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, that's a whole other thing. Is not only are you running up a mountain, you're running up a mountain, like, a mile above sea level.
Yeah, I for some reason I'm separating it that it's not just like a fun run. It's not just like a
it's
mutter,
it's
tough
up a
mutter
mountain
or something. It's well, maybe scratch that. Maybe we don't all go do it. Maybe we just all go adopt a donkey.
Or I think we just go watch.
Okay.
And you can hang out with donkeys all day long.
That's all I want to do. I'm going to talk to you about kitchen witchery.
Excellent.
All right. Just a little bit of background. What is it? Are you yourself a kitchen witch? How do you know? How can you become a kitchen witch? All this and more after the break.
Okay.
Break's over.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So, Macy, what's a kitchen witch?
That's tough for me to answer, actually. Because, like, I don't know. That's tricky because, like, I feel like I'm a kitchen witch, but I also feel like I'm a hedge witch. You know, it's really tricky. But I do say, for me, a kitchen witch is someone that finds themselves doing spell work more often than not in the kitchen.
And that's a part of what I wrote down. A witch that is drawn to magic revolving around food, herbs, potions, home magic, casting spells, whether that be for protection, prosperity, luck, through food.
Yeah.
But also someone who holds the kitchen in high regard.
Yeah.
That it's maybe your main altar is kept. I have an altar in my kitchen. I don't think it's my main one. My main one's very personal. It's in my bedroom. But I do have a kitchen altar that I like to have, and I keep salt there, and I have my little candles, and I like to do that. Maybe the dining table is your main altar.
That's where I do my spell work more often. I do all of my spell work in the kitchen.
I didn't know
always. That. But I do, like, if I have, like, a candle spell running, I do it in the dining room.
You know, if you just find yourself, that's where the majority of your work is happening, you might consider the possibility of adopting the label for yourself of kitchen witch. Kitchen witches view recipes as legacy, keeping ones that have been passed down to them, or even creating your own to then be passed down. Your recipe book is your grimoire. I found a little spiral. You know how our grandma, you'll just find spiral notebooks that she's had through her life, and they just appear sometimes, and I think they just come to you when you need them. Right before I started doing this topic, I found a little spiral notebook chock full of recipes.
Oh, that's a treat.
That she had written to my mom, or gave to my mom, because in the very front said to, I guess, for the wedding.
Yeah.
And it was in a box of books that I stole from mom and dad that just looked really interesting.
Okay.
And I just kind of yoinked them one day, and then I forgot about the box for a couple of years, and then I was going through it and I found it's just a F ton of recipes.
You need to scan those.
I'm absolutely going to do something like that. So are you a kitchen witch? Or do you have a natural pull towards kitchen witchery? I have some signs for you. Okay, so first of all, you don't have to be a natural chef, all right? You don't even have to love cooking. Maybe baking is more your thing, or vice versa. I'm not much.
I feel like you're talking about yourself right now.
Yeah,
because you came out a little defensive. You don't have to.
You don't have to
a
love
chef.
You don't even have to be good at cooking or have a kitchen.
You know what? You could just love baking.
You know what? But in all sincerity, you don't have. It doesn't have to just be cooking foods and dinners and things like that. It can be baking. It can be mixing potions or making your own herb blends. If you spend a significant time in the kitchen, you might be a kitchen witch.
Yeah.
Did you get my really dated reference?
Yes.
Yeah. Jeff Foxworthy.
Nope.
If you think of food as something more than you just have to do to survive, if you put thought into where your food comes from and what it's going to do inside of your body and to your body, and the energy exchange that kind of happens when you eat food directly from the earth.
I get caught up in that. So I'm such a fucking freak about all of that.
I think about it and even just kind of contemplating on that or thinking on that while you're chopping up your carrots and just thinking, the earth fucking grew this, dude.
Yeah.
It grew this with its energy and with the energy of the sun and with water from rain. It grew into the ground, and now you're going to put it into your body, and it's going to be gas for you to move, to fuck around or whatever, you know. And that's a significant earth energy exchange.
See, I get difficult because like I make it hard on myself a little because I'll go really far with it because I'm kind of a personal stickler for like organic shit and especially regenerative shit, you know? And so it's like, I know if I'm like eating something that was probably grown in like a commercial field that's stripped away and like, you know, ruined the soil and shit, I just feel like it's dead. Yeah. You know, and not only that, I feel like it's, you know, I'm adding to the issue, you know, but at the same time that sucks because if you live in a rural area like I do, your choices for like, there is some organic shit and like kind of stuff like that, but you have to look hard to find it.
And pay a lot.
You do. It's very expensive, you know, and so it's like we find that we spend, you know, we don't eat out very often, hardly ever, but we do spend a fair amount a month on groceries because if that's how you want to do, it's fucking expensive.
And I don't so much think of like I don't know, I keep coming back to carrots, but like non-organic carrots. I don't so much feel stuff like that as dead. I feel like it has a muted energy.
Yeah.
It's not as bright. What I feel is dead is like fast food. And like super processy food.
I can't really, and I'm at risk of sounding really annoying, and I know that.
Do not say you can't eat fast food because
I can. No, okay. I can, but not often, and because of the additives and that it's not natural, I don't really want it ever.
Yeah,
I so rarely actually even want it, and it's not to say that it's not delicious.
Oh, it's delicious.
But I only find myself wanting it every few months because it's like, all right, I've kind of been real clean and doing I'm okay with this.
Especially when you do view your food. I remember when I first sort of got into kitchen witchery, I went through a spell where I was really thinking about my food and where it comes from and this, that, and the other. And I really started to treat my body better. Now, of course, laziness and habit and everything has seeped back in, and you know, there's McDonald's. But like, kind of writing about this has kind of reinvigorated that feeling for me. And just things like what's that? The ugly vegetables, the ugly fruit, you know, that you can buy.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Because the grocery store wastes food
so
waste
much
is a huge fucking problem. And I mean that is a whole other avenue that I'm sure we'll, you know, I'll go down in a intermediate kitchen witch.
Oh.
But we're on beginner level shit here. Anyway, so if you're thinking about your food and where it comes from and the energy exchange that happens, and if you're viewing your food as like a gift from the earth, that could be a sign that you're pulled towards kitchen witchery. Maybe you frequent, and we're going to get a little, we kind of feel like we blew it a little early here, but maybe you frequent farmers markets.
Yeah.
You buy local produce, make sure that if you eat meat, that you're getting it from a place where the animals are happy and cared for.
Yeah.
Again, until they're not.
Yeah. But I will stand up for that hard. The flavor and quality of meat, not to mention a lot of times, like for instance, if we're talking beef, you know, like, one, grass-fed cows, you know, and especially rotated pastures. And if it's done right, it can regenerate soil. Yeah. Which can really help with carbon drawdown. And so it's like there is an issue with the cattle industry, but when they're kept in feedlots and fed corn and like on ground that's muddy and torn, that's a problem. And that's right. But it's like, you can do it right and you can source it, you know, from places, and it is expensive, but fuck if it doesn't taste delicious. Plus it has omegas, like omega-3s in it.
Well, I mean, it's also just better. Like I think about like, yes, it is more expensive. And please don't think that I'm trying to be one of those assholes that's like, it's expensive, but it's so worth it. So just do it, because sometimes you can't. I have been in that place where I could not fucking do that. Yeah. So I get it. I understand. However, it does seem a little bit like a self-fulfilling prophecy, whatever, where it's almost like the more people who go and support things, the more normalized it becomes. And then
prices go down.
And then the prices eventually go down. It's just like enough of us have to get there and commit
to that. Death by 1,000 cuts.
Right. But there are things, you know, you can make sure that the animals are cared for and happy.
Yeah, happy.
You can grow your own food, even if it's just your own herbs. You could start with one herb plant. You know,
sure.
I would encourage you to not run out and do like I do every year, it seems, and I get, okay, here's my basil, and here's my sage, and here's my mint, and here's my this, and here's my that, and here's my this. And I know I've got a fucking dead thumb. So as soon as it gets hard, I'm like, oh, shit.
It's too many. The watering schedules are different.
I forget. They're all luggy. Fuck it. You know, I forget what to do. So just get one rosemary plant.
Start small.
You know, and really care for it and learn all you can about rosemary. And I'll get more into that. But maybe you are growing your own food, growing your own herbs, or drying your own herbs.
That's fun. That's witchy as fuck.
Or hand grinding your own herbs.
Yeah.
If these are things you enjoy. The offerings that another sign you might be kind of pulled towards kitchen witchery is the offerings that you give tend to be of a food nature.
Mine almost always are.
This is a fucking huge one for me, dude. Maybe it's a cup of coffee in the morning. I'm a big fan of making an extra little cup of coffee. And it's a small little cup.
I need to do that. That's a good idea.
I mean, it's like I already made the coffee. Yeah. I'm there. I've got the little cup, you know, and I like to just
have coffee
kind of
with them.
Take it in the morning, and I'll give them 3 little knocks, and I'll give them a cheers, and I'll tell them what's in the coffee that day. And I even try to some days I'll give black coffee.
This has Kahlua, friends.
yeah. Are you aware of Kahlua? Do you know Irish cream?
Have you heard of horchata?
Oh, hold on, let me blow your ovaries up with this. It's some days I'll give black coffee, and then the next day I'll be like, okay, well, I gave them black coffee yesterday, and I know some people probably won't be into that. Some people probably really creamed coffee, so I'll cream the shit out of it.
Me when I'm a ghost.
Yeah, seriously. And then I'll bring them that, and I'll be like, okay, this one's really, and I'll do a couple days of that. Maybe it's a cup of coffee in the morning, or just some food off of your own plate, whatever you happen to be eating. Take a fork full and put it on a separate plate.
Okay.
And, give that as offering. Maybe you give libations. I love giving libations.
I love libations.
Maybe it's chocolates and things of that nature. Ghosts, let me say, you heard it here. Ghosts love chocolate.
Of course.
Ghosts love chocolates. And things of that nature. More often than you give gifts of straight up herbs or smoke or other offerings. Especially if you're sharing something that you made, but the reason you're sharing something that you made is because of the sense of pride. Yeah. It's when you make that one thing that you're really good at making. I think everybody's got that one thing that they're just like, ooh, I'll make a microwave pizza like you wouldn't believe.
Okay.
And then they serve it to a friend, and that feeling, you're giving it to someone for the first time, and you're like, they're gonna love it. They're gonna love
the
it.
anticipation.
If you're feeling a little bit of that when you're giving, then that can be a sign that this life is for you.
Wow.
Get in the game.
Whoa.
Okay, so another aspect of this is maybe offerings. So another aspect is maybe you already feel drawn to things like composting.
I love composting.
Dude.
Oh.
I've gotten to the point where, and like I have in my notes here, so like the raw, unused portions of whatever is left over after you cook, if it can't be saved, so like the ends of, I don't know why I'm obsessed with carrots, but like the butts of carrots or eggshells or stuff like that. If you feel like those need to be returned to the earth rather than trashed, or at least if you have no other option. I know some people can't compost. I read once of a lady who over her coffee grounds, she would like do a little intention of like, I know you're going to a landfill, heal this land, like heal the land that you return to, is I believe how she phrased it. And I thought that was really pretty. If you find yourself viewing your food or other works that you create in your kitchen as a spell within themselves, then you might find the path of kitchen witchery suits you. So, how do you become a kitchen witch? Or strengthen your kitchen witch skills if you're like me and you like initially described yourself as a kitchen witch and then just over time have kind of fallen out of that because you forget how much you love things and you go through cycles. Yeah. And when you return to something, you're like, oh, I remember why I like this.
See, I think I'm a kitchen witch first and foremost.
Yeah.
And then like other things, like the more third eye kinds of things, like like meditation, that's all secondary.
Yeah.
But it's like, I can't tell you how many hours I'm just always in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah. And like, there have been so many days that I will just wake up and from the sun up to dinner, I'm in the kitchen and I'll do the dishes and then I'll make a breakfast that takes an hour and a half to make, and then we'll eat that, and then I'll do the dishes again, and then I'll kind of, maybe it's just straighten up or reorganize and then make lunch. And I've done that so many times. And every meal we eat, we cook. And so we're always in the kitchen. And it's just kind of my comfortable place. I'm always there. I love it.
Like today, we were just like, Lyra was over earlier. We were about to sign the prints and we were all just like, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
And you just like whipped that thing up.
Like, let's make it. Let's make some fucking, it's a great kitchen for that. It's a kitchen witchery kitchen.
And truly, the kitchen is the heart of a lot of homes.
Yeah.
Regardless of how big it is or how fancy it is, it's the center point. It's where people gather and, even if it's just kind of briefly to like have a cup of coffee and like talk, when you like go in, you get a cup of coffee and you like talk, you just
conversations just happen.
And then you go back out into the world and you talk with all the other guests, but it's like, it's one of those, can I talk to you over here? For a minute? Kind of places, let's see. All right, so how to become or strengthen your existing kitchen witchery skills. It's usually best to begin with where you are and what you have. I don't recommend going out and buying every herb that they have at the store.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just look around and, working with necessity is something that kitchen witches are thoroughly proficient in and have always been.
And focusing on your culinary herbs.
Yeah.
They're powerful.
Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that a kitchen witch, I don't even think I really put it in here, will make more use of.
Yeah.
You're going to get so much more use out of your thyme and your rosemary than you are out of your Damiana.
Yeah.
And
Kava.
Right. Stuff like that. So begin with the ingredients that you already have in your home. Usually they are herbs. And even if you just have salt, like you just have salt or black pepper, pick one thing that week. And if you're drawn to this, if you're on hype, pick one thing today that you already have in your kitchen and make it like your basil week or your rosemary week, where you learn like all you can about that herb. Look everything up you can on it. If we've done an episode on it, maybe you can listen to it, and write it all down into your grimoire about rosemary or whatever. Look up recipes, try to work. If it's rosemary week, try to work it into every single meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, snack, whatever. Try to work rosemary in, even in ways that kind of freak you out. Because, sometimes you see a dessert that's like,
I love herby
lemon
desserts.
rosemary.
Love it.
And it sounds, if you're like, rosemary, it's so good, dude. So try to work it in every single chance that you get. And then, you know, after you've done a basil week and a rosemary week, and then you start to mix and match. Start going, you know, what if I crunched up some rosemary and some thyme together? What are the properties that they share? What are dishes that they both taste good in? Go slowly. You have time, dude. You don't need to like learn every trick in the book right out of the gate, right?
You don't want to burn yourself out either.
Oh, exactly.
Burnout's real.
You know, and for real, you know, and it can happen a lot quicker. Is your wrist okay?
Yeah, I just had to pop it. It's all fucked up again. I don't know.
You don't have to be deeply, deeply knowledgeable about every herb in the world. Just the ones that fit your craft and the ones that you enjoy. Because you also don't have to like, you don't need to try to force a liking to something that you don't. If you hate it, like I'm never going to work that much with fennel. I don't like fennel.
Yeah, don't force it.
You know what I mean? So if there's something, let's say protection, that fennel carries and something calls for fennel for protection, I'm going to swap that out with clove.
Yeah, something with similar properties.
Something similar properties.
Yeah.
But you enjoy, and it really gets you to kind of stretch your creative muscles when it comes. Because I feel like a spell jar, if you have all the stuff, why not? Throw it in. If I have a spell jar and it calls for fennel, I don't fucking care. I'm not eating my jar.
Yeah, it's different than a recipe, though, that you're doing.
Yeah, you kind of have to mold it to what tastes good and what, you know, you don't want to just put a handful of salt in for protection.
Right.
You know, use a little salt and a little black pepper and a little fennel and this and that. Let's see. Also, take stock of the tools that you already own that are available to you.
You probably have witchier shit than you realize in your kitchen.
So much, and even if it doesn't necessarily like look witchy, many kitchen witches, they view their mixing spoon as their wand. And I don't even mean they're like, oh, this is kind of like a wand. Haha. No, it's literally your wand as a kitchen witch.
Interesting.
What you will channel your intention through into your food. Your pots and pans, those are your cauldrons.
Yeah.
You know, I particularly like, I've used cast iron pans before when I couldn't find something fire safe to burn like a charcoal disc for incense.
Cast iron is witchy as fuck to me.
Cast iron is I have such a love affair.
Me too.
With cast iron.
It's almost all I ever cook in.
It is, and it lasts. And I am more proud of my cast iron pieces from our great grandmother.
Yes, yeah. I got a little one.
I've got like a little.
Pan.
I've got like a little, like one of those oblongy kind of ones.
Oh, cool! Yeah,
that's like kind of flat. And it's like I almost don't. I mean, I will use it because you can use it forever, but it's like I want to fucking hang it up, you know. And
I've gotten better about caring for them. I've gotten more good about like seasoning them and whatnot, and kind of
don't use soap and I cringe when I think of all the times that like.
You just left them soaking in the sink.
Yeah, like a teenager when my parents were like, "Hey, Charlie, do the dishes."
Recently.
And I've thrown it into a dishwasher.
Oh no, I've never done that.
Yeah. I've like straight thrown cast iron into a dishwasher, and like thinking about that now, it hurts.
Yeah,
it hurts me. If you have a mortar, I can never quite say
that's
this.
my fucking
mortar and pestle.
Every time I use mine, I feel like I am literally just a beacon of magic.
Oh my gosh. It's something about the physical. I'll get into that. But if you have a mortar and pestle,
soul.
I can't ever fucking say it, dude. If you have a mortal soul, sweet. Give hand grinding things a go. Like cinnamon, peppercorn, chunkier herbs.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
Mash up some star anise.
Oh, dude. If you don't have one, check it out. Try a coffee grinder.
Yeah, I've heard good things about people who use people fan of coffee grinder trick.
I used the coffee grinder trick to grind up herbs when I was a teenager. Weed. I'm talking about weed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or even I did, and then it got so powdery fine. I didn't know if I had fucked up.
You just turned it into keef. The whole thing was keef.
Let's see, or even just, okay, yeah, so you can use a coffee grinder, or even just, like, whacking stuff with a rolling pin.
Sure.
You know, feel how the energy from doing that goes from your hand to your body, like your intention, and it makes you more connected to your food. There's much more of a chance to like jam pack your intention into your spell / meal.
Yeah.
Because this physical process of physically,
yeah,
think of it, when you hammer something or you add force to something, there's heat there. There is a definite exchange of energy. Yeah. And I don't think it's just between the two things that hit each other. I think our energy goes through it as well.
Sure.
And gets into it. And it's an extra little opportunity to just slam the protection into the bread.
Full of your agenda.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about bread. And I think bread.
Well, kneading bread is deeply connected to, I mean, and any dough, really, like any kind of dough that you knead with your hands and you put that energy into your agenda.
Mm-hmm. Making bread is one of those, like I was talking about earlier, those human survive. Even though you didn't actually make it to survive, there's a primal satisfaction that comes with making your own bread. And like, we've not bought bread in so long, and just knowing, and it's not a big deal, but just knowing that's an item we've removed from the grocery list, you know, that's made at home. And it's so great.
Not always about price,
it's usually more expensive.
I went to get like all your, especially if you're making like a good bread.
Yeah, and I buy good flour and shit. And so like sometimes, when you're all in, but like we were buying the good fucking bread too. Yeah. So it's like, maybe not, you know?
A while back, I was making bread to try to save money. I was making a lot of stuff, and it was probably cheap flour and stuff like that. I was just like cranking this bread out. And I thought, I was like, a loaf of bread's like 81 cents, where, depending if you get store brand, or whatever. And I was like, but it's not about that for me. Mm-hmm. It was about, like you said, it's taking that item out of the cart. And now, like, I know what I'm putting into it.
Yeah, and it's like 4 ingredients versus fucking 60, like on the back of the package. Not to mention it tastes so much
hot
better.
Bread out of the oven with butter with some of that green pesto shit that chive you made.
Mix. I'm gonna make you some. It's gonna be great.
Oh, good. Macy made. Oh, and Macy let me cut her chives today, and it was such a treat. Okay. Anyway, let's see. As far as elemental representation goes, you have it all in your kitchen. You've got earth, air, fire, and water right there already, okay? In, respectively, your food for earth, okay? The scents that flow through the air for air, the heat of your stove for fire, and the big one here, the one we can't ignore, is running water.
Yeah.
Give thanks for this.
Yeah.
Give thanks for this in whatever way you see fit, because those 4 things being present in your inside of your home is amazing. Yeah. The fact that you have food is amazing. The fact that you have the heat to cook it and the water and that. I light a candle, or I try to. I guess I don't so much anymore, but now I'm getting back into it. But I light a candle on top of my stove to represent. It's just representative of the hearth fire that a lot of my ancestors had to keep going for survival, to be kept alive and to be kept comfortable and to be kept fed. So however you feel the need to give thanks. You can also sorry. Another thing that I want to talk about kitchen witchery that is, I think, possibly overlooked is something, it's like a skill that you already possess, right? It goes hand in hand with kitchen witchery. It's the ability to clean. Yeah. When I view cleaning up as an act of respect and gratitude and magic.
It's easier.
Yeah, suddenly I don't hate it so much. Yeah. It's not so much of a chore. To keep my kitchen clean is to respect the tools that I have. Yeah. And to do magic work there regularly. It even kind of like helps me incorporate the two. Yeah. Because if I'm cleaning up, but I'm also, snatching the besom off the wall and giving a little energy sweep. Yeah. You know what I mean? I can do it all at once. But it helps it helps the energy of my kitchen stay bright and alive and fresh.
Not stagnant.
So, common magical practices as a kitchen witch. Oh. Something that has been discussed on this podcast is directional stirring. Yeah. So, since so much of cooking is mixing and stirring and blending and I guess that's all the synonyms I have for mixing.
Okay.
Shove some intention into it, right? Stir clockwise when you want to attract something. So bringing in an intention of love, protection, luck, happiness. Oh. Stir counterclockwise to banish. So cast out negativity, sickness, toxicity. Use any physical force that goes into your cooking to instill your project with your intention. We've pretty much already talked about this. So kneading bread, tenderizing meat.
Yeah.
Chopping veg.
Chopping
veg.
Oh, baby.
These are all things that you can shove intent and feelings into. So kneading, you can like knead the bread. That can be like passion, you know, or forward momentum if you're, you know, looking to advance maybe in work or something like that. Tenderizing can bring tenderness.
Oh, look at that.
And don't be afraid to get cheesy. Oh. Chopping vegetables can be viewed as cutting out negativity or cutting cords that bind us. Just as examples. Obviously, you can do more than that.
Kind of like the intention, like you're putting the symbolism you want to go into that activity. Yeah.
And speaking of symbolism, queen of segues, Macy.
Excellent.
Taking my throne. Taking my segue throne. Incorporate sigils into your work. This is something I forget about, but when I do it, I swear to God, I can tell the difference.
I agree. Yes.
So most notable would be things that you can decorate, like cakes. You know, you can also carve like into the crust of a pie before you add your filling, you know, add your little sigil. Or if you work with runes, you could do a rune. Sigils don't have to be complicated. No. You could literally draw a heart for love.
Smiley face.
For happiness. Whatever is going to like make that feeling that you get right in your little bread basket and your little tummy, whatever is going to make you feel that and make you feel like you're putting it into that food.
And that's pretty much all it is a visual representation of that emotion
of what you
goal.
Want. Yeah. Right. You know, if you're making a loaf of bread and you need to fly under the radar, you can maybe scratch it into the underside before you put it in your little pan. If you're making sandwiches and you're squirting your mustard on, do it there. I always make a happy face out of my like condiments anyway. And all of this is kitchen witchery. This can be hidden so easily.
Yeah.
A big part of kitchen witchery is the ability to camouflage itself.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing, the potions you're making, tinctures, and having these things from the earth that nourish you, this is all happening in your fucking mind. Yeah. You know what I mean? And to everyone else, it's like she's making dinner. Yeah. He's fucking stirring a soup.
Except one thing I will say, and especially if you're a bit more, I don't know, if you just pay attention, watching someone who is cooking intentionally, you know what you're about to eat.
Well, see,
is spectacular.
I feel that with like really good chefs.
Yeah.
When you like watch on TV, I feel like you can just the way someone moves. Yeah. And sure, maybe they're not calling it witchcraft.
No, but
you know, but it's intention, and everything within witchcraft is intention. So if that, you know, and it's stupid, you know, if everyone's like the main ingredient is love, I think it's fucking true.
I think it's love. Yeah.
Or something. You know,
it might be hate.
It might be hate. It might be horny.
Oh, absolutely. That's a serious part of sex magic to me is kitchen witchery. Yeah. They go hand in hand.
Making you some saucy sauce.
Oh, my God.
Some steamed vegetables.
Some bread. Some fresh bread.
Some fresh, hot bread.
Yeah. Go get you a wood demon.
Hot buttery bread. Attract you. But yeah, that's all we're doing is we're giving tips to people who are attracted to wood demons. Yeah. They're like, I'm finally going to snag one. Excuse me. So one tip that I've seen is to carve different symbols or runes or whatever you're going to do into a few separate wooden spoons.
Cute.
So to add like extra oomph to your specific intentions, right? So a luck spoon.
Excellent.
Could be used to stir your beans.
Okay.
You know, like on New Year's, you do your lucky bean recipe. For psychic gifts, you could have a psychic gift spoon for mixing your blueberry pie filling.
Great. Love that. Yeah.
Blueberry pie is a wonderful recipe for psychic gifts, psychic protection, that kind of stuff. You know, so on and so forth. Have different spoons. If you're finding yourself, like me, protection is something I always try to put into food.
Yeah.
So like a protection kitchen spoon, like a little,
that.
like a bind rune or something that I'll create, would burn it in, carve it in, etch it in. However, you can even do it like on the handle, like paint it if it's like not edible paint. Well, not edible paint or not edible anything.
Yeah.
You can keep a kitchen protector. I love this. So if you look up kitchen witch, you are likely to find actual little like witch dolls.
Cute.
That you keep in your kitchen. Now, this is something that people who aren't even like aware of the term kitchen witch will do. It's just one of those things that's permeated. A lot of kitchens will have like a little witch figurine.
I need one.
They're fucking cute, dude. And so many witches do choose an actual little witch because I think it's cute. I think it's funny. But it can be anything. You know, it can be a little dinosaur toy. You know, if you feel like he's protecting. It can be a magnet with a likeness drawn on it that stays on your fridge, but you know, in your mind, in your head, that is your kitchen protector. Bonus points if you make it or add flair of your own to it. But care for the protector. Keep them clean, keep them comfy, keep them cared for, leave them offerings, care for them in the way that someone who's protecting your space deserves to be cared for.
I just know that I'm going to go in there at 2 a.m. and it'll be just like skittering around the floor and
probably.
I'm going to die.
Well, I mean, probably, look, what's it doing? It's probably chasing off some nasties.
Maybe, but
you know, if I go in my kitchen,
psyche would still crack.
Well, stop it. Just stop it.
Get over it.
Get over it. Let me see. You can, excuse me. So you can also choose to work with a kitchen deity or a home and hearth deity. And just for example, from otherworldlyoracle.com, this would be deities such as Juno, Bridget, or Zhao Jun. So whoever you feel like working with, if there's any kind of grouping or culture or practice or whatever that you feel the most tied to, perhaps you've been called on by a traditional hearth and home, deity.
I put the Baba Yaga in that category.
Okay.
Especially, I've connected with her strongly.
Well, I mean, she's literally a house.
Yeah. And she's in a cottage in the woods, and she's always got her kitchen shit going and whatnot. Yeah. She is very kitchen witchy to me.
For sure.
And I've connected with her pretty hard.
Another thing we need to, I don't want to tell anyone how to live their life, but I like to remember is that sometimes these things like home and hearth can feel very, for lack of a better term, soft.
Yeah, domestic.
Right. Which I think is a trap that we fall into with viewing domestic as tied with soft because we tie it to women, but I'm not going to fucking go down that path.
Right.
What I'm saying here is protection is such a big part of cottage witchery, kitchen witchery.
For sure. It's the cornerstone witchery, of my practice.
Protection.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you're protecting, you're not sitting in a corner like praying, I hope I'm okay. No, you're fucking sharpening your knives.
It's a real fuck around and find out kind of attitude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're ready to burn a bitch. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that you need to be afraid to bring a little power in whoever you're bringing into your kitchen. And then we have the traditional things like keep an aloe plant in your kitchen for good luck. It's also there for when you burn yourself.
I had one and it was great and I used it for when I burnt myself and then my house got below freezing and it died. Yeah. And
Great.
It was big too. It had grown so big. It was massive. I was super bummed.
I am so mad about all the plants that we had that died.
I know.
And of course, I think we spoke about this on the live today. A quartz crystal on your stove is said to make the food cooked there taste better.
That's just cute.
Which,
I like
again,
that.
It makes sense to me. Quartz is an amplifier. Mm-hmm. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't talk a little bit about some herbs and their properties.
Sure.
So I'm going to run through some things that are not just herbs and spices, but I've got vegetables here and some meats and seafood that are pretty common, I think. And this is from otherworldlyoracle.com. So we'll start with herbs and spices. And I'm just going to this is basically just a really basic, if you're just looking for something that you already have in your kitchen to do that basil week or whatever.
Sure.
So basil, money. If you're looking to work with money, check out basil. Lavender is great for anxiety relief.
Yeah.
Rosemary is a wonderful healer. tomatoes are good for love. Did you know that?
Well, that makes sense in regards to how when like a powerful love potion is like a tomato sauce, like a red sauce.
That's true. Yeah. And it kind of looks like a heart.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Greens of any kind represent money.
Badass.
I love greens.
Yeah.
Potatoes are stability, which makes
perfect sense. They're a staple.
Strawberries for love.
Okay.
Banana. What do you think banana's for?
Is it virile?
It's fertility.
Good.
And apple is luck, love, wisdom.
Oh.
Live, laugh, love.
That one just has it all.
No, the apple's fancy. Apple is the try hard.
Yeah, no shit.
And meats and seafood. Check this out. I've never thought about that. Neither have I. Oysters. What do you think? Love and lust.
I say lust.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I feel like I would put them under lust.
I said love and lust.
Oh, I said love
you
or.
just said I say lust.
Because I don't know, just the act of like cracking them open.
Oh, yeah.
It's like this very
it's like a dance
movement, like passionate movement, and you're eating the insides of this animal out, and it's very violent.
And it's very slippery and kind of gross. Yeah.
Oh, fucking delicious.
Bacon. Financial prosperity.
Bringing home the bacon.
Dude, check it out. And eggs are a symbol of fertility, renewal, even protection.
Protection, I associate them with protection pretty hard.
I do too. And I, whenever I draw any of the egg cards from the Kim Kranz Oracle deck that I have, like there's the spirit egg, golden egg, black egg, things like that. I always denote that as protection. Like to me, the black egg is like the most protective
I would feel safe
of
as
protective.
Shit,
yeah. And then golden egg is like protective, but like maybe it's about financial protection.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's about like it's fun in some way. It's like a glitzy, like be careful, protect yourself, but have fun,
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, there's some basic stuff to start you off with. There are other duties of a kitchen witch besides just slapping a steak on the radiator and heat it up.
On the radiator.
Outside of cooking and baking, that, imbuing it with your magical intent.
Sure.
There are other callings answered by kitchen witches. Do you like how I just said the same thing twice, basically?
Yeah, I didn't.
Okay.
That was fine.
Yeah. So, typically, kitchen witches there's a high level of involvement with family. This can be bio family. This can be family that you chosen family. A kitchen witch can usually be counted on to make sure that those they love for are cared for. This can be people in the home, pets, themselves, neighbors, this usually comes in the form of cooked goods, but also also you're likely to receive a gift from a kitchen witch that's like, I made this herb blend.
Yeah.
Or gifts of the kitchen, even not even really things that you have to eat, but like pomanders or potions, wreaths of rosemary, things like that. Even to some extent, things like candles.
Yeah, I believe that.
Because it's potion-like. You do it in your kitchen.
Kind of pour them in there.
You're still using those tools. They kind of carry that potion-y vibe. Giving thanks for your bread and butter is sort of your bread and butter as a kitchen witch.
Oh, yeah.
I underlined it in my notes to remind myself that it was a joke.
Look how clever I am.
Offerings and gratitude, yes, but also paying forward the abundance. So you're likely to, if you're a kitchen witch, you're likely to be called to do things like, giving packages of cookies and jars of jams and cakes and pies to sort of, welcome in the new neighbor.
Yeah.
Or even if you're like, whoa, shit, I have enough batter here. I'm going to make another cake and I'm going to send it to work with a friend or something like that.
I relate to this one quite a bit.
Yeah, I do feel like you always have some extra
living in the compound situation that we are. Like when I make banana bread, like it was like the other day I had 6 overripe bananas. It was the weirdest thing. It's like we bought a bunch of bananas and overnight they were all like literally in a day they were all too ripe, like black. And so I had 6 bananas and I was like, man, that's like 3 loaves of bread. Oh, yeah, and so I did. I made a loaf for us and for grandma and for mom. Yeah. And I just like snuck on the porch.
And I feel
like, I left these empty in your food. Oh, it was so good.
I feel like y'all all do that for each other.
We do. Like occasionally, like the other night, grandma made God, man, she goes so hard. What
didn't she make some, you told me it wasn't potato salad.
It was something serious. I don't remember what it was, but it just absolutely
slapped.
Blew. It was like a chicken rice casserole, but like homemade with like her pan fried chicken that she pan fries first, you know?
Damn it.
Oh, it was so good. And I don't remember what the dessert was, but I remember we were just like, this is just ridiculous. Like, it's so good.
Man, there is truly no better way to someone's heart than through their stomach.
That's true. I mean, it's absolutely true.
So if all of that sounds like something that you're into, if it sounds like your bag, put on some music that makes you feel witchy. Set up a little altar in your kitchen, light a candle, and get cooking.
Get in there.
Let's get cooking.
Let's get I loved that music track that they had in the background.
Although the way you did it sounded a little John Cena-ish.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah.
I liked that. I
feel
think
like
I'm more of a I mean, I knew I was a kitchen witch, but like,
well,
I'm right on the line. Here's the thing. They're very similar in a lot of ways, but hedge witch and kitchen witchery, you know?
See, I'm there too because I really identify with the like hedge writing aspect of hedge witch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And divination and that kind of stuff. But I don't think that we have to like put one firm label on ourselves.
Yeah,
you know?
I think you can be a hybrid.
Oh, absolutely. And it's like in a lot of ways I'm still solitary. In a lot of ways I'm still eclectic. In a lot of ways I'm still kitchen. In a lot of ways I'm this and you know, whatever. And you know, I think it's cool to in the beginning kind of give yourself a
It gives
label.
you something to identify,
right.
You know, to feel some sort of connection, like inclusion.
And also, and I think I don't know if it was on a live or on an episode, I'm really brain dead, but I've spoken recently about this article I read that was talking about get to do one thing and get to do it really well. Like make that thing your specialty. Yeah. And I think it makes it easier to like really hammer down what your specialty or whatever is going to be. But yeah, bro, I'm feeling the kitchen witch vibes.
I like it.
Yeah. Huh. And you know what else you can whip up in the kitchen?
Yeah.
I've been whipping in the kitchen. Do you remember? I ask you this, I swear to God, every time I see you this, but when Hamburger Helper had,
yes,
they promoted they like got actual like good rappers to rap. Yeah. Yeah. Every time I see you, I've been whipping in the kitchen. And I've been whipping up some review footage.
There it is.
This title, Macy.
Okay.
Get ready.
Sure.
The best podcast there is or ever will be.
Whoa. That makes me want to disappear into a crack in the wall that's a little too small for me.
What's that guy's name?
Tom Collins Bombadil.
Tom Collins Bombadil. You're going to pull a TCB.
Man, that's high praise.
This is from Caro Clo Rob. And this says, I have been listening to these lovely ladies for some months now and have been trying to go in order, and I absolutely love every second of every podcast.
Wow.
Every second. Okay, Owen. Wow.
Wow.
They are so relatable, and I find myself cracking up every episode. So perfect for any witch just starting out or long experienced.
Oh.
I feel like we can all relate to these witches. Keep up the good work, black heart emoji.
Cute. We'll try.
Thank you very much. And I need that as a tattoo on my forehead. The best podcast there is or ever will be.
Everybody else is doomed to lose to us.
I don't feel like... I mean, I feel like there's several podcasts that would have something to say about that.
I think there's several podcasts that are better than us.
Well, listen. Better's relative.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Better produced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I think we're pretty good chemistry, like content-wise.
Absolutely.
Pretty good.
Sure.
Production-wise.
Oh, dude, if we had the editing skills of say, like Garrett Watts from Sweet Boys and their pod, like Andrew Silvecki in them, like we would be unstoppable.
Yeah.
If you would like to advertise on the best podcast there is or ever will be, shoot us an email to our email address.
We're booking up. We're getting some serious bookings. It's exciting.
It's very exciting. I'm so excited to bring, because I know what we've got in the pipeline. I know what we've got going. I'm constantly amazed by people.
Yeah.
And what people can do.
Yeah.
And just the shit that I'm just amazed by people, dude.
I know.
And I'm so excited to share some of this with you guys. And the more I get into it, and I know it's probably sounds disingenuous because it's like an ad on our show, but the more that we get to like introduce you guys to things that can like maybe, again, take an item out of that big box shopping cart, you know, maybe if you can find a place that you like better than Amazon.
Yeah. And it's a small business.
Exactly. And we're all supporting each other. It just lights my little heart on fire. I almost said my little titties on fire. And I didn't want to be that crass in a moment of sincerity. Macy, what's our email address?
It's wbahpodcast@gmail.com.
We have an Instagram. Come check out our dick pics at Witch Bitch Amateur Hour. We have a Twitter where Corey is our marketing manager. Mm-hmm. And there's also the Wabah Out of Context
there it is.
Twitter.
There it is.
Give them a follow.
Whoever runs that.
At Bitch Hour. Mm-hmm. Yeah, who does run that?
I don't
Please
know.
Make yourself known.
Yeah. Come forth.
Step forward.
Yeah.
You think they're like, no,
I don't think I will. Come
eat with us over on Facebook at
Witch Amateur Hour, or search Witch Bitch Amateur Hour. And if you want to join the groups, you can go over to Community and there's the groups there.
Yeah, don't forget to do that.
Yeah.
Don't just like the page because you're going to be missing out on all of the cool stuff. We don't really post
on the Facebook page. You got to get in that coven.
You got to get
slide on into that coven.
Yeah. Slippery slide in.
Yeah.
We have a The dogs are getting in on a Patreon.
There they are.
If you'd like to support the podcast.
Get all kinds of free fucking content. And
dude.
Not free, but you get extra content. You're buying the content, but we give it to you.
But there is content.
We supply it.
Available.
Yeah.
We've got things like Facebook Lives.
2 of them a month.
We have 2 blog posts and vlogs and spells and oh my.
Yeah. We have all kinds of goodies.
And you can do that over on patreon.com/wbahpodcast. That's WBAH podcast. Macy, in your best slap chop guy voice. God. Where does Saucebox?
Man, I don't know if he can come in an unpossessive way, He just kind of takes over whenever he feels.
You can't really summon him.
He's not here.
That's okay.
Can't do it.
Not today. Stars.
Yep.
Can't do it. That's okay.
I can't channel at will, man.
Okay. Listen, that's absolutely acceptable. But in some other funny voice of your choosing, tell us where Saucebox lives. Saucebox is our P.O. box. Handwritten letters are magic.
Okay. See if we can do it in Scottish. I don't even know if I can. You can find.
Look at me, Bessie.
P.O. Box 865. That's not Scottish, but that's where I went. I was like, P.O. Box. Canton, Texas, 75103. That was like a mixture between Scottish and like Middle
Spanish.
Eastern.
Yeah, there was something there happening.
Yeah, none of those words felt easily turned, like, because some, like, for instance, like, suckness, that's easy. You can Scottish that word up easy, but I was like, how do you Scottish up 75103?
7
5
1. Look at me, 7
0.
Look at me, Saucebox. You're filled with a suckness. Dude, I will never stop saying suckness.
Suckness.
Okay, well, listen, this is a monster of an episode.
It is. I'm going to edit the fuck out of it.
I do not envy you.
It's times like this when I'm glad that it's my job. And I'm not doing it at 5 a.m. before a work day. Yeah, that'll be nice. Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Well, we'll catch you on the next one. We may or may not be in person again. However, I want to remind you, there's a little something called the Spooky Sode coming up.
It's coming. We got a treat for you.
It'll be here before you know it. And listen, let me just say this. If we're here recording regular episodes in person, just expect a small, temper your expectations.
Yeah. It's not the Halloween 2020 spooky so. Like, don't think we're going to give that to you every time.
What did we do then?
A 4-hour episode.
Oh, yeah, but we still didn't go anywhere.
No, we didn't
This
go
is not
anywhere.
This is not a Magnolia by any means.
Oh, no.
Well, it might turn out to be.
You never know. We might meet a little ghost dog.
Oh, hints of where we're going. By the way, if you, one of you guys out there, we have read a story on our Spooky Sode about a location that we may or may not be going to that may or may not have a ghost dog, may or may not be pretty close to my house, and it's really convenient for us. Bye!
Yeah, it'll be good. So, keep your eyes peeled.
Peel off of your eyelids.
If you have them.
If you unfurl your eyebrows. If you have them.
Unfurl them.
Flap them in the wind like Eugene Levy.
Oh.
Love him. Oh, man, I finished Schitt's Creek last night, and I get sad any time I finish a series.
I have not. I am so far from finishing, but I want to.
I've never watched the last episode of Friends. I've never watched the last Harry Potter movie. I don't finish things very well.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go home and I guess watch the last Harry Potter because the way you just looked at me, it was
I don't know.
vulgar.
I think I would rather you just go home and watch fucking Letterkenny like I've been telling you to do for months now.
I'm already getting members of the coven
I bet.
on my ass about that. I can't even play Valheim. You know who you are. Without somebody being like, hey, you watch Letterkenny yet?
Letterkenny yet? They're asking a very serious question.
I'm leaving now. Goodbye.
All right. Bye, folks. Talk to you next week on the Witch Bitch Going Home Noises Hour.
What if that's what we did a whole episode as we just tried to gracefully exit?
I have an appointment. 3 later. I mean, it's a while until then, but I might need to, scoot on out of here.
I gotta think about that, and of course I gotta eat some lunch or something.
Get hungry, eat something.